So we might just have to tap them on the shoulder. I was doing a commentary actually in Bern on Tuesday night. Aston Villa are away against Young Boys, and we had a couple of Villa fans sitting in front of us, sitting very close to us, and they said, Stephen, it's the first time they'd ever watched the game live but had the commentary at the same time, and asked Pat Nevin and I whether actually we could travel around with them and go to every single game.
Pat's very good though.
I teed him up and he finished it off. The game is underway at the Amex Stadium. I'll run you through the two teams in just a second. Nottingham Forest kick-off, come back to their goalkeeper Matt Sells. He launches it long. Chris Wood doesn't jump for it. It's headed out by Jack Hinchelwood. I beg your pardon, Joel Veltman. And that is a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. So they're on the ball inside their own half. Stephen's just going to have a little look at how the two teams are lining up while Nottingham Forest build their first move. Aina tries to exchange a 1-2 with Callum Hudson-Odoi. It doesn't come off. Brighton have it. It's worked to the left-hand side. Cross comes in from Estupinian, blocked at the near post by Milenkovic. Early corner for Brighton.
Yeah, well, straight away the one change that we thought might happen was Hinchelwood would come into the right-back position and Veltman would go into midfield. It's the opposite way round. Hinchelwood's found himself in centre midfield, so early change there, but lovely ball for him. Rutter down that left-hand side and a dangerous ball into the box.
Yeah, we were talking about the 19-year-old Hinchelwood and what he brings to Brighton, versatility in particular. I mean, he is really a midfielder. That's where he's playing today. Can play left-back and right-back as well. Driven corner, not the best. Hudson-Odoi is able to block it on the edge of the penalty area. The Amex Stadium falls silent. Here is Hinchelwood, deepest player for Brighton after the set piece. Long lofted ball to the right-hand side. Knocked out of play for a throw into Brighton attacking position on the right. It was Alex Moreno who got his body to the ball for Nottingham Forest. So Brighton have Bart Verbruggen in goal. Joel Veltman's your right back. Purvis Estupinian, first Premier League start of the season at left back. Van Hecker and Dunk, the two centre backs. Hinchelwood alongside Carlos Baliba in central midfield. Throw-ins taken by Veltman. Hooked in towards the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Murillo clears away. Adingra and Matoma, the two wingers. So Adingra has come in for Minte this afternoon. Adingra's first Premier League start of the season as well. And João Pedro is on the bench. Fabian Hertzler has said before the game, doesn't want to take any risk with the star man. So he is on the bench. And I presume he will be called upon if necessary. It means Jorginho Rutter, signed from Leeds in the summer, starts in the number 10 role behind Danny Welbeck. Brighton attack on the right-hand side. Ball is played wide to the right to Adingra. Low cross, dealt with by Murillo again on the volley. Veltman's first-time ball, finds Adingra. Adingra just pokes it out of play for a Nottingham Forest throw. Why has he done that?
I'm not actually sure. Just wondering what happened there.
Yeah, whether he got a shout that he wasn't offside, was he?
Perhaps, but
maybe he was going to be offside, so he let it run
for a throw. Yeah.
Coming up to 3 minutes played. Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Throwing down the left-hand side. Wood leaps to win the header. Gibbs White is hurt in an aerial challenge. Jump in there with Rutter. Rutter slowly picks himself to his feet as well. The referee, Robert Jones, just says, wait a second, everyone. Just going to check everyone's OK, and Nottingham Forest are going to get the free kick.
Yeah, a little bit winded there. Morgan Gibbs White takes an elbow into the ribs. A little bit of a sore one, but he's back on his feet now.
Murillo goes quickly with the free kick. Ball over the top. The flag
He looked offside.
Stays down. It did look offside. Then it goes up. Yeah, it was Hudson-Odoi leaping, trying to get on the end of it. Couldn't control it. The flag would have gone up.
That's the run. When Brighton play this high line, if you're the winger, you're starting on the Estupinian, where Hudson-Odoi was, and you can get in between Estupinian and Dunk, then you can cause so many problems getting in behind, because it's a difficult run to pick up and spot.
Brighton, blue and white stripes, playing from left to right in the first half. Ball bounces in front of it. Adingra from the diagonal pass. He can't keep it in place. Sticks out a right boot, gets a toe on it, and it goes out for the Forest throw. So the wingers are back. That is the two changes to the Nottingham Forest lineup following the 1-0 win away to Liverpool last Saturday. Hudson-Odoi and Elanga both start. Ryan Yates and Nicolas Dominguez drop to the bench. Matt Sells in goal. Ola Aina, Nikola Milenkovic, Murillo and Alex Moreno. On loan from Aston Villa, plays at left back. Gibbs White drives it forward. He slightly overhit the pass. There was space again for Hudson-Odoi to run into, but Bart Verbruggen is able to come out and collect it for Brighton. James Ward-Prowse and Elliot Anderson, central midfield. Elanga, Hudson-Odoi either side of Morgan Gibbs White with Chris Wood through the middle, who scored 8 league goals in his career against Brighton. So has enjoyed playing against them for his various clubs. Lewis Dunk, right-footed ball, low pass, Mitoma onto it for the first time in the game. Estupinian beyond him, tries to find him. The run is covered there by Aina, and it's behind for a goal kick to Nottingham Forest. And it's interesting in terms of the team selection, Stephen, because were you there last Saturday for the Forest win against them? No. But just in terms of the strategy there, sort of bringing the wingers on late in the game, I wonder whether he might try and do the same thing here, given that Brighton love to get on the front foot.
Yeah, I just think because of the high line, it gives them the option to go behind. If you play a high line from Brighton's point of view, and then from Nottingham Forest you're setting up with no pacing behind, then it plays into Brighton's hands. They know they can squeeze the pitch right up. Now you're asking them a question: can you spin it in behind? We've seen it 2 or 3 times already early on in the game where they have just tried to flick that ball in behind, and such a dangerous ball.
Verbruggen has the ball at his feet, the Brighton goalkeeper. Low pass to his left finds Dunk. Dunk comes back to his goalkeeper again, and then Jan Paul van Hecker is there as an option, and Nottingham Forest back off, and he's able to bring the ball forward. In the WSL, the 12:30 kickoff, still Arsenal 1, Manchester City 2, first weekend of that season. Estupinian, loads of space on the left-hand side for Brighton, gets his head up, and the cross is headed away by Milenkovic, and that will go out for a throw into Brighton on the left. Taken quickly by Estupinian, thrown to Lewis Dunk. Stephen.
That's 2 or 3 times now that Estupinian's got down that left-hand side. That quality has to be better, and he's almost trying to whip it in with so much pace that he's taking her away from the accurate ball, and you just got to stand it up a little bit, be a little bit more delicate with the cross.
Preston 0, Blackburn 0 it finished in the Championship, both teams finishing with 10 men. Ruta out wide to Adingra, who plays with that sort of blonde streak down the left side of his hair. Verbruggen, crisp pass finds Dunk just inside his own half. Sweeping, curling ball to the left, just beyond Mitoma. Almost water ball, out it goes for a throw.
Yeah, lovely play by Mitoma. Little goes to go short for the ball off Dunk, and then spins in behind, and Dunk spots it. The chemistry's there, the understanding of what he wants. Aina had stepped in to go for the short one and left the space in behind.
Stephen Warnock with us at the Amex Stadium. Aina takes the throw, long powerful throw down the right. Wood chests it down, flicks a left-footed pass across the halfway line. Challenge from Veltman is a strong one on Moreno, and the referee gives the free kick to Nottingham Forest. He took a while to think about that, made the decision, and has given the free kick to Nottingham Forest. Lewis Dunk just wants the decision explained. Let's get the latest then on Arsenal, Manchester City in the WSL. Sahel Sahi.
11 minutes to play here, Alistair. Arsenal 1, Manchester City 2. Since you were with me last, Miedema and Shaw have come close for Manchester City, and Russo was played through for Arsenal, one-on-one with the Manchester City goalkeeper, but Yamashita stared her down. Arsenal 1, Manchester City 2.
8 minutes played at the Amex Stadium. Full commentary on the way this afternoon on 5 Live and BBC Sounds of Manchester City against Arsenal. Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Nottingham Forest in possession just outside their own penalty area. Moreno starts a run down the left. Great closing down from Jorginho Ruta to block the ball forward from Murillo, and it goes out for the Nottingham Forest throw. And Moreno's got to come all the way back down the touchline to take the throw, because Murillo is not interested in doing that.
He's quite happy, just sat back, isn't he? Get the shape, get organised away from home. Moreno trying to advance high up the pitch when Murillo has the ball at the back, but now we're starting to see Forest build up. Touched by Gibbs White.
Yeah. Gibbs White tried to control it inside his own half and lost it, and suddenly Mitoma's onto it in a central position, 35 yards out, forward to Welbeck. Welbeck drifting across the face of the Forest penalty area, lays it back to Hinshelwood. Welbeck again, low pass back to Belieber. Brighton fans calling for him to shoot. He goes to his right to Ruter. Clever run made by Adingra. The ball right across the face of goal. No one could stick it in, and it goes behind for the goal kick. Sahel Sahi's seen a goal.
Arsenal have equalised. It's Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2. A break down the left, and Caldante, the Spanish international, clipped the post. It came off the post on the opposite side. Guess who was there? Beth Mead. She converted from 6 yards away. Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2.
And still Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 0, but that, Stephen Warnock, was a lovely move built by Brighton.
Yeah, it was, and Belieber at the heart of everything. I watched him last year a couple of times, and already there's a more mature player at the heart of midfield for Brighton. He just injects pace. He's got a lovely balance about his game, and there was just a couple of times where he fizzes passes in and just injects that pace into the attacking move.
Second season for him at the club, joined from Lille for just over 20 million last summer. Classic Brighton signing. The likes of Casido and McAllister, they know, are moving on. They get someone ready, they bring him in young, and here he is in his second season. And as Stephen says, fast improving for Brighton. Liverpool, Leicester, Spurs, Crystal Palace underway in the WSL as well. Both of those games remain goalless. Estupinian, little back heel wide on the left for Brighton, looking for Mitoma. Mitoma then has to make a tackle to try and win the ball back, and it goes out for a throw-in to Nottingham Forest. And in the second round of the Women's Champions League today, this game kicked off at 12 o'clock. Celtic 1-0 winners against Vorskla Poltava, a Ukrainian team. I believe Celtic playing both of those legs at home, given that Vorskla Poltava are a Ukrainian team. But Celtic have won by a goal to nil. If they can win the second leg, then they will be through in that second round tie.
I'd love to see what Fabian Herzler's 11 come back
Gibbs
to.
White getting away down the right-hand side. Elanga making a run in the middle. There's the cutback. Nearly fell for Hudson-Odoi. Then the challenge
penalty,
on Hudson-Odoi.
penalty.
And it's going to be a penalty. Robert Jones thought about that for a second, had a really clear view of it. It was Belieber who had to make the challenge on Hudson-Odoi, who was trying to get the first-time shot away. It didn't quite fall for him then. Then he ran for the ball. Belieber was with him shoulder to shoulder, and the referee has given a penalty.
Yeah, lovely break by Morgan Gibbs-White, and he had the opportunity to fizz it across the 6-yard box to Elanga, but he doesn't. He pulls it back to Hudson-Odoi, and Hudson-Odoi, as you say, goes to get that shot away. Belieber does well to get close to him, prevent the shot. Then there's a coming together, and he clips his heels of Hudson-Odoi, goes to ground. Definite penalty.
Well, the last time Nottingham Forest had a penalty in the Premier League was against Brighton at the City Ground back in November. It's been nearly a year. Morgan Gibbs-White is just having a chat to the referee on the penalty spot here. James Ward-Prowse has the ball tucked under his arm, and then he turns and gives it to Chris Wood, who is getting booed and jeered as he steps forward to the penalty spot. A couple of goals already so far this season for Chris Wood, and now a chance to give Nottingham Forest the lead, an early lead after just 12 minutes here at Brighton. For Bruggen, stands tall with his arms stretched out wide. Chris Wood steps back to the edge of the penalty area. The referee has blown his whistle, and here comes Chris Wood now with his right foot, finds the bottom corner, but Bruggen dived to his left. Chris Wood went the other way. Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Yeah, beautiful penalty from Chris Wood. A lot of pressure on his shoulders. Boos and cheers coming from the crowd, trying to put him off, but he was so calm in the situation. Sends for Bruggen the wrong way. A smart penalty down into the bottom left-hand corner, but Bruggen dives the opposite way, and it's advantage Nottingham Forest.
72 Premier League goals now for Chris Wood, so 28 away from the 100 club that we were talking about before the game. Just in terms of the challenge, Stephen, we were just talking about Belieber there. He was shoulder to shoulder, wasn't he, with Hudson-Odoi, but Hudson-Odoi just sort of got a foot in ahead of him, which meant he clipped his heel when he went for the ball.
Yeah, just a little bit too clever from Hudson-Odoi. Puts his left foot across Belieber, makes sure that he gets his body in front of the man and the ball in between, and then that is a clear penalty. Fabian Herzler not impressed with the decision, but it is the correct decision.
So Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 1. A Nottingham Forest win would take them 4th in the Premier League table and knock Chelsea out of the top 4. Of course, there's still Manchester City against Arsenal to come. Manchester City starting the day in 2nd, level on points with Liverpool, behind them on goal difference. Welbeck is tripped midway inside the Nottingham Forest half by Murillo. And Arsenal start the day in 5th on 10 points, having dropped their only points so far this season against Brighton in the 1-1 draw at the Emirates Stadium when Declan Rice was sent off. Mitoma's cross into the box. Murillo is there. Nottingham Forest defensively so far this season have been excellent. Just 2 goals conceded in the 4 games leading into today. Clean sheet at Anfield last week. Clean sheet in the 1-0 win away to Southampton when they were under a lot of pressure for a lot of that game. From the throw, Brighton have found Welbeck. Then it's whacked out of play by Aina. Estupinian jumps out of the way so the ball doesn't touch him, and Brighton get themselves another throw. I was talking about the rain coming. It feels like the sunshine might appear before them. It's lovely now, isn't it? Let's start peeling some layers off here. Throw in towards Mitoma. Foul throw. Foul throw by Pervis Estupinian. So Nottingham Forest will get the throw instead. 14 minutes in, Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 1, and Nuno's just making a point there to the Nottingham Forest players, Stephen.
Yeah, just looking at Milinkovic at the back, he looks like the type of centre-half who is aggressive, wants to keep a clean sheet, barking orders to everyone around him, a real leader at the back, and also a giant of a man, isn't he? Yeah. Very imposing figure.
Aina, long throw again down the right. Wood looks for the flick on, it goes over his head, it bounces over Hudson-Odoi as well and goes out for a Brighton throw. Dunk takes that quickly, back to Verbruggen. And Van Hecker, the Brighton centre-back with the blonde hair, number 29 on his back, jogging forward. Cleverly worked there by Hinshelwood into the feet of Belieber, charging at the Nottingham Forest penalty area, drives the shot, big deflection, the ball loops up in the air and it's easily caught by Matt Sells. One touch from Hinshelwood there opened up the whole half.
Yeah, lovely touch, a little round the corner into his path, and it took out James Ward-Prowse, but I just felt, I didn't think he was going to give that Adingra away. But I just thought Belieber, he was trying to atone for his error of giving a penalty away. He wanted that strike from distance, whereas Matoma was the ball on the left-hand side, just a simple pass into him, and he'd have had a 1v1 in the penalty box.
Really interesting little snapshot there of the life of a Premier League manager. So Moreno was fouled by Adingra, and Nuno Espirito Santo went nuts. And I thought, is he unhappy about the challenge? Because Adingra's not, he's got to go for that, but he wasn't. He was having a right go at Murillo for putting Moreno in trouble, and immediately with his hands pointed out what Murillo should have done.
No, I don't think he'd have been happy with the challenge if he saw it again. Just studs right down the knee, down the side of the leg on Moreno. Very, very sore.
Free kick then, Nottingham Forest. They lead by a goal to 0. Fourth official this afternoon is Anthony Taylor. He's just had to have a word with Nuno, who went marching down the touchline there out of his sizable technical area. Fabian Hertzler, the Brighton boss, has come over for a word as well. 31-year-old Brighton manager. Veltman gets a shove in the back from Morgan Gibbs-White down with the Brighton byline. Brighton get the free kick and take it quickly. Belieber, head up, running through midfield, forward to Ruta, back to Belieber, curling pass down the right-hand side. Adingra against Moreno. Moreno gets there first for Nottingham Forest, twisting and turning the left back down by the corner flag, spins and clears down the left-hand touchline. Alanga there with a little shove on Veltman. This time no free kick, the ball has stayed in play. Veltman lofted it in the air. Ruta is alert and alive to the situation. Matoma to Welbeck, brilliant, nearly finds it Stupinian. Fabulous sliding challenge from Milenkovic to avert the danger.
Wow, what a challenge from Milenkovic. Had to get there, had to time it perfectly. Lovely play from Brighton to build up the attack.
Ruta slips, Brighton move breaks down. Moreno takes a chance, little dribble on the edge of his own box, and then feeds his fellow fullback Aina on the right-hand side. Chris Wood's penalty, the difference between the two teams here. Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2 it remains in the Women's Super League. Moreno stabs a little ball back to his goalkeeper. Sells. Elanga on the move, running in, he's onside. Running in from the left-hand side, bounces twice in front of him, and Verbruggen just has time to get there to clear it for Brighton. The tactic was, because we've got the whole view of the pitch, and the tactic's so obvious, that was brilliantly worked, Stephen.
It was superb. Chris Wood, Elanga coming out onto this left-hand side, and then Elanga darting off the line, inside, simple ball through the middle, evades both centre-backs, and I just thought Elanga could have perhaps stuck out a leg and taken a touch. He opted for it to take a bounce and go through.
I initially, when it was played, I thought his favourite, he's definitely going to get there first, particularly, as you say, if he'd taken the risk and just stretched out and tried to get it, and he let it bounce for the second time, and Verbruggen was able to clear. Yeah,
and there'd been water in the pitch before the game, so it's very slippy, and that skid off the surface was just evaded him. It took the ball away from him.
Manchester City Arsenal in full here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this afternoon at 4:30. John Murray and Leon Osman with your commentary there. Steve Crossman presenting the show from the Etihad Stadium this afternoon. After that commentary, Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage taking the calls from 6:30 through until 8 o'clock on 6:06 tonight. A couple of managerial departures possibly to discuss on the show. We've heard about on 5 Live Sport this afternoon. Errol Bullitt sacked by Cardiff, very difficult start to the season for them, and Hearts have parted ways with Stephen Naismith as well. Welbeck makes a block inside his own half. The ball goes out for a Nottingham Forest throw on the left.
There's going to be an apparent switch here play here. You can see Morgan Gibbs-White on the far side. Hudson-Odoi's got himself isolated with the Stupinian, and you just feel that he doesn't even look Gibbs-White. He just knows he's there, and he's waiting for a little ball hook it round the corner and isolate him in a 1v1 because of the way Brighton defend. Two centre-backs get over really far across the pitch and they're happy to leave that 1v1.
Estupiñán with a stretching header back to Dunk to Verbruggen, the goalkeeper, wide to Estupiñán, risky pass, Hinshelwood couldn't control it, Ward-Prowse straight through to Hudson-Odoi, flags up here, Chris Wood takes a touch, misses the target anyway, and VAR would have had to have checked for the offside, but Chris Wood is getting some stick there and looking a little foolish. Through one-on-one, took plenty of time, the flag had gone up ages ago and still couldn't bury it.
Yeah, you just look at the play in midfield, Hinshelwood finds himself with a little ball behind him, and then Alanga far too eager to get forward. He's coming back from an offside position as the ball's played into him, and then he plays it into Chris Wood, takes a touch but drags the shot horribly wide, spared his blushes by the offside flag.
Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Chris Wood, the goal scorer from the penalty spot. Jan-Paul van Hekke plays into the Brighton midfield. Ruter, meaty pass back to Dunk sweeps it forward to Estupiñán down the left-hand side, comes back to Dunk shouts at Estupiñán, wants a bit more from him, plays back to Van Hekke again. Ruter in that number 10 role just comes running towards Van Hekke down the middle of the pitch, but he goes back to Dunk, across here to Mitoma. Mitoma's about 15 yards inside the Forest half, plays the ball down the inside left channel to Hinshelwood. One touch and a pass from him to Estupiñán, across to Mitoma. Couple of touches, thinks about an early cross, low ball, nearly finds a dinger in the box, and Nottingham Forest get an important block on it, and then Alanga felt he was caught as he tried to clear on the volley. Referee Robert Jones doesn't agree, tells him to get up, and Brighton take their throw in quickly. Here's Ruter, edge of the penalty area, running right to left, trying to find Estupiñán wide on the left. Nottingham Forest have cleared this into the Brighton half. Liverpool-Leicester underway in the WSL. Latest from Sani Radravajala.
22 minutes gone, Liverpool 0, Leicester 0, but it feels like a goal for Liverpool. It's almost inevitable here. Big chance from Ria Herbinger and fullback Lucy Parry. Leicester have just had an effort on goal, but currently 22 minutes gone, Liverpool 0, Leicester 0.
Tottenham leading Crystal Palace by 1-0 in the WSL. Newly promoted Crystal Palace this season. Dunk's lofted ball forward. Murillo tries to head it back to the keeper and it just gets there. Adingra nearly got a toe on that to knock it round Sells. Had he done so, he would have had an open goal. Stephen Warnock.
Oh, his manager has just had his head in his hands and thinking, what are you doing? Just clear the ball. Lack of communication between the centre-half and the goalkeeper, and I just wondered whether Adingra could have just put a leg out or get a touch on it and then invite the challenge from the goalkeeper Sells and initiate the foul.
Elliot Anderson is tripped here by Adingra. Free kick for Nottingham Forest just inside the Brighton half. Anderson then Alanga just exchanged a few words there about Anderson was sort of saying, well, I was expecting you to bomb on down the left, that's the pass I wanted. Alanga was making the point of what he was doing, and that's, you know, two teammates getting to know each other's games, I guess.
Yeah, look, 100%. They want to know what's best and how they want to play. What's been interesting to me is why Alanga's playing on this side, closest to us on the left, and Hudson-Odoi on the opposite side. So often we've seen the best work coming from the other sides, especially Hudson-Odoi coming on at Anfield, coming off this left inside and scoring the goal.
Ward-Prowse with the free kick from deep. Morgan Gibbs-White gets the first header. Hudson-Odoi chests it down, sticks out a leg, and half volleys the ball harmlessly behind for a goal kick to Brighton. So 23 minutes gone in the first half. First Premier League commentary of the day on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and Nottingham Forest lead Brighton by 1-0.
I think the biggest compliment I can pay Nottingham Forest here is that they're really disrupting Brighton's rhythm. Now, whether that's a foul or it's the change of play, the way they're spinning the ball over the back and forcing Brighton back, they're not allowing Brighton to press them, and they're finding a lot of positive forward passes, Nottingham Forest, and there's another one again, just looking to spin the ball round the corner. Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, that was Ward-Prowse first time with the right foot looking for the run of Chris Wood. That was after Dunk's pass was initially blocked by Hudson-Odoi, and then Brighton have got that high line and Nottingham Forest going quickly and trying to exploit that space in behind. Adingra and Gibbs-White involved in a 50-50. The ball spins loose. Here's Anderson for Forest in their red shirts, white shorts, red socks. Anderson again battling for it. This time he's lost it. Adingra forward to Welbeck. Not much support, but Adingra's there on the right. Quick pass from him to Believer. 30 yards out in the inside right channel. Quick ball fired across to Estupiñán, who just took a second or two to bring it under control. Strength from Believer. Holds off Gibbs-White. Looks for Ruter on the edge of the box. Nottingham Forest clear the danger for now. It falls to Anderson midway inside his own half, and he's just hauled to the floor by Believer, who thumps the ground in frustration that the decision goes against him, complains and gets a yellow card. And Nottingham Forest get the free kick.
Well, they're getting through some excellent work in midfield, both Anderson and Ward-Prowse. The work rate between the two of them, the relationship that they're trying to build up is vitally important, and they're just nullifying Brighton at the moment as well.
25 minutes gone in the first half. Brighton fans making their feelings clear about that last decision made by referee Robert Jones. Pointed to the spot as well, of course, for the Nottingham Forest penalty when Belieber caught Hudson-Odoi. Milenkovic floating a pass down the right. Aina.
What a touch that was.
What a touch.
Beautiful.
That was sort of hip height, back heel volley control from Ola Aina. Then there's a little drag over from him as well. Nearly lost it though, wide on the right hand side. Murillo side foots one into midfield. Brilliantly won by Hinshelwood. Brave challenge. Gets Adingra on the move. Charging forward Adingra. Slides the pass to the left hand side. Couldn't find Matoma. Welbeck was there as well. Hinshelwood in for another 50-50. Wins that as well. Falls to Belieber. Back to Hinshelwood on the left-hand side. Estupinian makes the run on the outside. Little pass from Hinshelwood finds Matoma. Out wide to Estupinian. High spinning cross to the far post. Headed away by Moreno. Lobbed back into the penalty area. Murillo deals with this for Nottingham Forest. Gibbs-White goes down on the edge of the box. No free kick given. And then it is thumped high and clear into the Brighton half. And Van Hecke and Dunk exchange headers, and they might lose the ball inside their own half.
Gibbs-White, that really impressive. There he is again.
Oh wow,
outstanding.
Two fabulous challenges from Gibbs-White to win the ball for Nottingham Forest. What can Elliot Anderson do with this on the left? Chased by Adingra, still going down towards the byline, drags it back, support from Moreno. Eventually the two Brighton men do their job, take the ball off Anderson. Veltman clears it on the half volley with his right foot, and Murillo is able to bring it under control on the halfway line. Plays across to Milenkovic, back to Murillo. Oh, brilliant from Murillo. Dummied the pass down the left, dragged it inside, beat Ruter, looks for Hudson-Odoi with the diagonal. Hudson-Odoi is able to keep it in place, slides it back. Gibbs-White with the shot, fairly weak one, straight up for Bruggen, who makes a comfortable save at the near post. Full time in the WSL. Arsenal, Manchester City, Sahel side.
Finished Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2, an opening day classic then, with both teams having spells of dominance. Frida Maanum, she put Arsenal ahead. It went back and forth until Vivian Miedemar equalised against her former club. Goals were swapped again in the second half to share the points, and as Pat Murphy wonderfully says, 41,818 were present. Full time, Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2.
Liverpool 0, Leicester 0, Tottenham 1, Crystal Palace 0. The latest scorelines in the WSL. Wins for Chelsea, Manchester United and Brighton this weekend so far. Here's Adingra bringing the ball infield. Showed too much of that to Elanga, who's won it inside his own half. Back to Gibbs-White, finds Elanga again. Quickly on to Hudson-Odoi on the right. Chris Wood making a run at the far post. Hudson-Odoi keeps going. Matoma back for Brighton, slides in. Now can Belieber get rid of it for Brighton, wins a challenge, plays it to Lewis Dunk, back to the goalkeeper Bart Verbruggen, who is going to slow everything down, and Nottingham Forest will back off. Let's check in on the Formula One, latest from the Singapore Grand Prix. Harry Benjamin.
Under the lights here, it's lap 52 of 62 into the final 10 laps. Lando Norris has been unstoppable so far, with almost 30 seconds the gap between himself and Max Verstappen. He's pushing hard though, nearly a skirmish with the wall. Piastri is currently third. Charles Leclerc is closing down George Russell and the Mercedes for fourth as well. That's what's happening in the Singapore Grand Prix.
Commentary continues over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Back there as the race develops and moves towards a close. Lando Norris starting the day 59 points behind Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. 6 races to go after this one. Here's Veltman, scoop pass into the Nottingham Forest penalty area, headed away towards Wood. Wood lofts it high in the air. Veltman is underneath it, no pressure on him. Forest just stand off, let Brighton have it, just inside the Forest half. And here's Van Hecke. Van Hecke puts pace on it, wide to the right to Ruter, drops the shoulder, gets it onto his left foot, support on the outside from Veltman, cross blocked by Wood, and behind for the corner to Brighton. They're trailing Nottingham Forest by a goal to nil. Stephen Warner.
Incredible work rate from Nottingham Forest. Chris Wood there filling in for his left winger. Langer being caught up the pitch, and he just fills in, does a job, makes sure that the cross doesn't come into the box, but very, very well organised from Nottingham Forest so far.
Formula One continues over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. I'm not sure we're going to get any cricket on Sports Extra today. Somerset against Glamorgan Metrobank One Day Cup final at Trent Bridge. So far, rain ruining events there. Here's his Stupinian with the corner, whipped into the near post, header over the bar for Ruta, who got himself into a good position but couldn't get the header on target, and it goes behind for the Nottingham Forest goal kick.
Yeah, it's a lovely move by Brighton. Well worked set piece. Ruta runs along the goal line. He comes inside and then gets near post and gets too much of a header on it. Just needs a little bit of a glance on it rather than a full contact.
Golf continues as well. BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth. Final round today. Matteo Manassero started with a 3-shot lead today, certainly 3 shots over Rory McIlroy and Billy Horschel. Ian Carter will keep us updated on that one. Highlights of the final round, 6 o'clock, BBC 2 tonight. Chris Wood thought he was fouled, doesn't get the decision, just picks Anthony Taylor out and barks at him furiously from about 20 yards away. Brighton have it in the Forest half on the left. Stupinian plays back to Dunk.
See, I think Anthony Taylor can step in there. That was a foul. And he's part of the team. He's a fourth official. He's got eyes on it. You can see his legs were taken from under him.
Dunk to Matoma. Matoma's crossed into the far post. Moreno's there, hooks it away because Adingra was behind him. Had to do that. It's behind for a Brighton corner.
First time we've seen Matoma really heavily involved in the game. Gets in a 1v1 situation, but he doesn't take him on. He just takes one touch and then outside of the right foot he bends a beautiful ball into the 6-yard box, and it's well dealt with at the back post by Moreno.
As it stands at the moment, Nottingham Forest heading into the top 4 of the Premier League table. They're leading Brighton by 1-0. Another corner for them to defend, though. Stupinian holds his left arm in the air. Forest fans behind that goal away to our right. Curling ball in, headed away by Murillo across that Forest penalty area. Belieber chases, so does Aina. Belieber lets the ball run out of play for the Brighton throw. Could have gone quickly there back to Hinshelwood, but Hudson-Odoi has now closed that down, so he's just going to take his time and think about another option. In the end, he's going to leave it for a teammate to come over and take it. No one seems to want to come over and take it. Eventually, Stupinian comes jogging over all the way from the right because he took the previous corner from that flank. So the game slows for a second or two. Stupinian holds the ball above his head. Hinshelwood makes a little run into the box. Stupinian can't decide what to do and then throws it straight to Gibbs White. There wasn't a Brighton player anywhere near that. And suddenly Forest looked really dangerous on the counter.
Wow.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi, ball at his feet. Pace from Elanga on the left-hand side, making the run. Hudson-Odoi is delayed for now. Finds Wood. Wood support from Moreno. Moreno just gets there in time to tow it on to Elanga. Back to Moreno. 2 Brighton defenders there. They knock it out for a throw into Nottingham Forest.
Oh, I just wonder whether Hudson-Odoi could have fizzed that ball across the penalty box into Elanga. He made a great run at the back post, and there's a little bit of a coming together between Moreno here.
Yeah, one of the Brighton substitutes has sort of, well, I wouldn't say thumped the ball into his chest, but he was giving him it for a throw-in, but gave him it quite aggressively. Moreno didn't like it, he reacted.
It's Kadioglu, isn't it?
It's Kadioglu, yeah, that's who it is, yeah. Turkish international getting involved. Moreno didn't like it, reacted, and the referees come over to sort that out. Now Forest get the throw. Moreno throws it into the box. It is a foul throw, and the Brighton fans love that. So Alex Moreno gets the stick, and I bet you Kadioglu was in his ear as he was throwing it as well.
No left-backs union.
No, exactly,
That's gone out the window.
Exactly.
Happy with that.
I tell you, that's 2 of them today, isn't it? A Stupinian foul throw and Alex Moreno foul throw, the 2 left-backs.
All right, Ali.
Yeah, sorry. Brighton 0, Nottingham.
It's a foul throw.
Was it?
But he's just
from the right
hammered
back.
It down into the ground, and brilliant.
Well, he got away with that, Veltman. It's come back to Verbruggen. Here's Lewis Dunk running inside his own half with the ball at his feet. Plays it to his Stupinian. Back to Dunk. 12 minutes remaining in the first half. Wide it goes to Mitoma. Here's his Stupinian again. So Kadioglu, the spot he wants in the team is the one Stupinian is playing in at the moment for Brighton.
He could be on at half-time. Stupinian's not playing well at all. He's really had a poor first half.
Veltman threads one through to Ruter, little back heel to himself. Murillo sticks with him. Ruter with 2 red-shirted defenders in front of him. Low right-footed cross into the box, cleared away. Elanga gets his body in front of Veltman. Veltman's caught him, and the referee says that's a free kick for Nottingham Forest. And then Nuno turns around to Anthony Taylor and says, well, how about a yellow card for the challenge from Joel Veltman?
Yeah, I don't think Joel Veltman's helped himself, because he's been constantly in the ear of referee Rob Jones, and Rob Jones is almost like, well, you've annoyed me so far in this half, I'm going to give one against you, just back off a little bit.
Nottingham Forest free kick, close-up shot at the moment of Fabian Hürzeler, who just wipes his forehead with his right hand as Forest's free kick goes long, reaches Elanga. Ward-Prowse lays it off to Moreno. Suddenly Forest in an attacking position. Gibbs White flicks the ball back down the touchline. He was tackled, in fact. Touch on that from Adingra, so that's going to be a throw in to Nottingham Forest, who lead in this game through the early penalty and are certainly frustrating Brighton. Murillo closed down by Welbeck quickly, plays across to Milenkovic, awkward bouncing ball for him, back to the goalkeeper Sells, out to Murillo, longer ball down the left, and Moreno chases. Moreno, can he keep it in? I think he does. No, assistant referee says no, and then Moreno crosses the ball after the whistle was blown, and Fabian Hürzeler thinks potentially that should be a yellow card as well.
Oh, get grip. I mean, you're going down the left hand side, he's full momentum, he's thinking, well, has the flag gone up or not? He can't see the flag, he's just, momentum continues forward. But there's a clear directive from Nottingham Forest here, is when they're at the back, it's that direct running forward, and it's that ball over the top because of the high line of Brighton. And Brighton need to adjust what they're doing, or make sure that when they're closing down, that ball is prevented from going forward.
10 minutes remaining in the first half. 5 Live and BBC Sounds, first of 2 Premier League commentaries for you today. Next one up, big one. Manchester City Arsenal kicks off at 4:30 at the Etihad Stadium. Steve Crossman is there. We'll be back with him at half-time. John Murray and Leon Osman, your commentary team. Quick throw taken by Estupinian over Einer's head, but Milenkovic read it, beats Mitoma to it, and smashes the ball into the stands on the far side from us.
Morgan Gibbs White has been exceptional in this first half. And you were just giving out that information there, far side, making a challenge, making sure that he's getting in. He's meant to be your number 10. He's playing alongside Chris Wood, but there's been 4 or 5 challenges that he's gone in for, 50-50s, won them. You think of him as a flair player, you think of that type of player, he'll dangle a toe. He doesn't, he's fully committed. Really impressive so far.
Full England international now as well, of course. Got the debut against the Republic of Ireland. Shouldn't forget as well, a World Cup winner and a European Championship winner for the England age group teams. Here's Mitoma bringing the ball in from the left-hand side, allowed to dribble, looks for Welbeck. Belieber steps in to try and win a tackle. Referee Robert Jones nearly got in the way there. It works out well for Brighton. Welbeck to Ruta, turns, shoots, wide. Well wide in the end with his right foot. Couldn't quite wrap his right foot around it to test Matt Sells. Little bit better from Brighton. They're still 1-0 down at home to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, lovely play from Ruta with his back to goal. Little drag and shifts the ball. It's way off target in the end, but it's he's been the bright spark, Ruta. He's been the one who's trying to get on the ball. He's not a conventional number 9. He is a 10. He is a creative midfielder. He's not going to score you a hatful of goals, and that's probably the issue when you've got him and Welbeck in the same team and you don't have João Pedro up top.
8 goals in 66 games for Leeds before joining Brighton for £40 million this summer. Gibbs White trying to prod one through to Elanga. Van Hecker is there to clear the second ball. Adingra underneath it. Anderson, though, wins the header. Moreno punts it forward on the volley. Chris Wood gets in the way for Bruggen, who goes leaning over the top of him to try and punch the ball away. I mean, Wood is claiming he should have had a penalty there. You could see exactly what Wood was doing, just trying to make it as difficult as possible for Verbruggen. Both players are up. Play continues, and then Ruta is brought down by Ward-Prowse. Brighton want to go quickly with the free kick. The referee has stopped the game.
He'd already blown Robert Jones, but he didn't have to blow. He could have just let the game breathe for half a second, and Brighton would have advanced. I'm just wondering whether he's given Danny Welbeck a yellow card there for just shouting at Robert Jones. He's
or was
not
it
happy.
Wood? I wonder whether that might be. Well, I'm not. Yeah, let's level check on that, Stephen. You're right, though. Someone said something in that melee, and he's still having a word with Danny Welbeck, so it may well be Welbeck. More chance if you don't know what you're doing from the home fans for our referee, Robert Jones. Welbeck goes up on the ball. Well spotted, Stephen. There's a man who's played the game.
He just felt that he could have just, if he'd give himself half a second there, the referee. Brighton have got a great attack, and they just took to the Nottingham Forest players, the midfielders, out the game, and they would have been in at the back 4. So I can understand why Danny Welbeck is so frustrated.
Yeah, saw a great example of a referee playing a good advantage when Jacob Ramsey scored his second goal against Young Boys in the week, when the ref could easily have sort of panicked, just reacted and blown the whistle. He didn't. He waited a second, and it allowed Ramsey to profit. Van Hecke's ball forward to Adingra inside the Nottingham Forest penalty area, tries to lay it back to Ruta on the edge of the box. Is blocked, then he spins and crosses with his right foot, headed away by Anderson. Van Hecke stoops to win a header. Ruta battling for the ball, wins it again for Brighton, slides it down the right for Adingra. Adingra dummies the cross with the right foot, rolls it back to Ruta, edge of the area, works it from the left foot to the right, can't just find the space to try and get the shot or the killer ball away. He's got to come back to dunk. Now Van Hecke. Nottingham Forest are difficult to break down. Here's Ruta out to the right to Adingra. He's overhit the pass beyond Hinshelwood, who had made a good run into space. The pass just beyond him, Stephen.
Well, Milenkovic and Murillo must be looking in front of them and saying to Anderson and Ward-Prowse, thank you, because they are screening everything. The work rate between them, the organisation, pulling the two wingers in either side of them, getting Morgan Gibbs-White back on the toes as well. They are marshalling that back line, just in front of that back line so well. That takes a lot of communication as well.
Brighton 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Nottingham Forest leading through the Chris Wood penalty. Matt Sells clears with his right foot. Wood wins the flick on. Veltman running back towards his own goal. Gets a touch on the ball, plays back to Verbruggen. Verbruggen with a long right-footed clearance downfield. Moreno's underneath it, heads it over Ruter. Anderson leaps in to win a header, but nods it sideways to Mitoma. Mitoma looking for Estupiñán. He's got to sprint hard to keep this ball in play. He's done that on the left-hand side. Now he's up against Aina. Infield finds Mitoma. Mitoma takes it down to the byline, gets the cross in deep, beyond everyone, including Adingra. Adingra will chase this back to the touchline on the right-hand side. Veltman makes a run for him. Adingra doesn't use him, plays back to Van Hecke. One touch, cross comes in. What a header! And what a goal from Jack Hinshelwood, the 19-year-old. The cross was fabulous from the right-hand side, but the header was even better. Left high, powered it into the top corner. Brighton 1, Nottingham Forest 1.
Well, the original ball on the left-hand side comes in from Mitoma, and he's under pressure from James Ward-Prowse. Overhits the cross, and as it comes back out onto the far side, they just work it back to Van Hecke. And I'm thinking to Morgan Gibbs-White, you've got to get closer, you've got to go and engage and get there. You're doing nothing, unopposed. Hinshelwood arrives late, he gets up above Milenkovic at the back post, and that is a magnificent header from Hinshelwood into the far top corner. Quite brilliant.
He has got one of those surnames for commentary that are absolutely brilliant, I think. I always remember there was a West Ham striker called Dave Swindlehurst, and when Swindlehurst scored, you could have a real go. Swindlehurst, I think Hinshelwood is another one just like that. That was a brilliant goal from the local lad, Jack Hinshelwood. We were talking about him before the game as well, and I think he's a not just a really important player for this team, but for the younger Brighton players, Stephen, in the academy. You know, it shows it can still be done here. The likes of, you know, Lewis Dunk have done it, Solly March has done it, Jack Hinshelwood is now doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was the first moment where Nottingham Forest have switched off, and Hinshelwood drifts into that back post area. He runs off people. They find a little bit of a gap. Don't get me wrong, the ball from Van Hecke is absolutely brilliant, but credit to Hinshelwood for taking that gamble, because the easy thing for him would to be, I'm going to sit out on the edge of the box because things haven't been going our way and things are breaking down. But he didn't. He took that gamble and it paid off.
So late in the first half, 2 minutes plus added time to go. Brighton 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Two unbeaten teams, two very good teams at the start of this Premier League season, and they are level. Jack Hinshelwood, who's played until today 4 games at left back, ball through here to Hudson Odoi, making a nuisance of himself on the edge of the box, and then the offside flag goes up late. So Brighton will get their free kick. They've taken it already. Hinshelwood involved again, finds Mitoma. The Brighton fans are up and excited. Mitoma speeding and weaving towards the Nottingham Forest penalty area. He's tripped as he was running through. That is going to be a free kick, and that is very much in shooting range for Brighton.
Yeah, it's a yellow card for Olaina as well. He just gets the wrong side of Mitoma, clips his heels as he's in full flow. Mitoma, that's where we like to see him, when he's driving with the ball. Now Brighton have a free kick and a very Interesting position, just to the left-hand side of the penalty box.
Mitoma, when he runs out, it's like he's on rails.
Oh, it's incredible.
Beautiful.
The balance is beautiful because he can do it both sides. He's so comfortable with either foot. Often you see wingers and they're so dominant with one foot. This guy's not. He goes both ways so easily.
Fullback's nightmare. Aina in the book for Nottingham Forest. Chance for Brighton from the free kick. It could be a Estupinian, it could be Danny Welbeck with the right foot. Four-man Forest wall. The free kick is just to the left, as Brighton look at it, of this Forest goal. I would say it's about 22 yards out. Welbeck with his hands on his hips. Anthony Taylor's come out with the board for added time. Let's see what happens with the free kick first. Deep breath from Welbeck. Who's it going to be to strike it for Brighton? It is Welbeck. Oh, brilliant!
Oh, wow!
Brilliant from Danny Welbeck. What a season he's having, and Brighton have turned it around. 1-0 down, 2-1 up. The 33-year-old Danny Welbeck, as sweet as you like with his right foot, curls it beyond Matt Sells into the far corner. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1.
Well, he's not renowned for his free kick taking, but my word, how's he not scored more? Beautiful technique from Danny Welbeck. Sets it beyond the far right post and brings it back in. The faces of people in front of me, they were just gasping. They couldn't believe he'd done it. But it's well worked from Brighton. They have two men in the wall. Hinshelwood, he ducks underneath it, bends it into that far corner. I'm not sure what the goalkeeper's doing, Sells. He's got no reason not to be across that side. He's got his wall set up on the left-hand side. He should be going himself to the side that Danny Welbeck puts it in. Poor goalkeeping, but great execution from Welbeck.
That is a really strange one from Matt Sells, because he lined his wall up, as Stephen says, to cover one side of the goal, but then he's standing behind the wall, and Brighton have a two-man wall over to the left, and it's Danny Welbeck who uses that so cleverly and then just sweeps. I mean, the shot is brilliant, but Sells should be there.
Yeah, he certainly should, and there's a little clip just goes to Nuno Espirito Santo, and he's just sat shaking his head on the bench. He can't believe either that decision or how this game has suddenly flipped on its head, because Nottingham Forest were all but in control before the Hinshelwood goal, and now South find themselves going into the break possibly 2-1 down.
Goals in the 42nd minute, and now that one in the first minute of added time at the end of the first half. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Goal in the WSL, Liverpool-Leicester, Sani Radravajala.
And it's Liverpool who are ahead into injury time in the first half. It's Sophie Roman-Hogue with a header from a corner. Liverpool 1, Leicester City 0.
Thank you, Sani. Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2 in the WSL. Of course, we've got Manchester City Arsenal in the Premier League coming. Full commentary on the way this afternoon on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And all the reaction and the analysis, as ever, in the Football Daily podcast for you tomorrow morning on the BBC Sounds app. Van Hecker to Estupinian. Brighton playing with a real confidence and flair now late in this first half. Real swagger. Danny Welbeck striding forward down the left, rolls it to Mitoma. Welbeck just drops off, stays on the edge of the box. Oh, it finds him. Mitoma's cross deflected into Welbeck's path. Thinks about the shot with the right foot. Bobbles a pass to Adingra. Adingra lays it back here to Veltman. Welbeck suddenly pops up now wide on the right. Back to Veltman, and Veltman looking for Welbeck. Right idea, sort of dummied the cross to the far post and then put way too much on the pass. It goes zipping past Welbeck and behind for the goal kick. What a turnaround in the game.
Well, I didn't see it coming, because I thought Nottingham Forest was so well organised in the way that they'd set themselves up, and like I say, one moment where you switch off, you don't close down, and it costs you dearly. But credit to Brighton, they've grown into the game. They're now starting to believe that they can hurt Nottingham Forest. They've been below par as well, Brighton. They haven't been at the best that we've seen them, but now they find themselves ahead, which is credit to them.
Lead 2-1. Aina inside the Brighton half on the right, plays to Hudson-Odoi, back to Aina, infield to Ward-Prowse. He's forced back into his own half, passes back to Milenkovic, Serbian centre-back, forward to Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White caught by Belieber, Belieber, one of those Brighton players, on a yellow card. The referee lets the game continue. Einer's cross low into the Brighton box. Dunk slides in to block it. Estupinian prods it forward to Mitoma, and again Mitoma just gliding, eating up the yards down the left, crosses the halfway line. Players in the blue and white shirts running ahead of him. Might fall for Welbeck. Sliding challenge, really important one from Ward-Prowse to win it for Nottingham Forest. Then Einer goes long over the top. I think Alanga might be offside here as he chases. I don't think he is, you know. Do you not?
No, I think he timed it perfectly.
Flag stays down. Stephen again, bang on it. Stephen Warnock with us here at the Amex Stadium. And then Alanga tackled wide on the left of Forest, and it's given as a Brighton throw. Half-time whistle is going to go any second, and the Brighton fans now enjoying their afternoon, leading Nottingham Forest by 2-1, having done the double over them last season as well. The 3-2 win at the City Ground last November, 2 goals from João Pedro, who's not been needed yet this afternoon, and they beat Forest 1-0 here at the Amex in March. Fabian Herzler wants to throw long from Veltman, down the right, get the ball out of the half. Ruter tries to win it. Ward-Prowse flicks it high in the air. Alanga jumps it, just clears him. Adingra battles for it. Goes out for a throw in here. There goes the half-time whistle. Big roar from the Brighton fans. 2 late goals in the first half have them ahead. Chris Wood gave Nottingham Forest an early lead from the penalty spot. Fabulous header from Jack Hinchelwood for the leveller. And Danny Welbeck, the evergreen Danny Welbeck, showing us another skill he's got in the locker. The set piece, he's curled it round the wall into the bottom corner, but definitely questions to be asked about Matt Sells, the Forest keeper, for that one, Steve.
Yeah, there certainly was, but it's a really interesting game. We spoke before the game about how much of an exciting game this could be, and it's turned out to be exactly that. Nottingham Forest approached the game with a direct approach, and it worked for them early on in the game. Very well organised. Brighton had to bide the time to get back into it. The questions will be asked at half-time about the goalkeeper, his wall situation, and why he just left that left-hand side so free for Welbeck to find inside netting.
For 42 minutes we were talking about Nottingham Forest potentially being in the top 4 by the end of the day. Let's switch that and make it Brighton as it stands. They lead Nottingham Forest at half-time by 2-1.
Stephen Warnock, what I was thinking watching that free kick is, sometimes if the keeper goes on the same side as the wall, right, and the ball goes in, people say, well, he shouldn't be protecting that part of the goal. I'm not sure I've seen before a goalkeeper who has put themselves in a position where actually they can't affect it at all because he's right in the middle of the goal.
It was baffling, Steve. I wondered why it had gone in so easily, because it wasn't top corner, it wasn't like really plumbing the side netting, and I'm thinking, what's gone on? And had to wait and see the replay because of the angle we're at. We're at the left-hand side of the half, where it's on our right-hand side, and we don't have that angle. And then I watched it back and I'm thinking, what's he doing? You've got 2 Brighton players there, and he's effectively aiming for Hinchelwood, thinking, well, if it goes anywhere near Hinchelwood ducks, gets out the way, then it should go in the back of the net. Such is the position from Sells. Very, very poor goalkeeping.
Yeah, very odd, but a very good game. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1 at half-time. More from Ali Bruce Ball and Stephen Warnock to come. Once we're done with that one, we'll be back here at the Etihad. We'll be live for full commentary of Manchester City versus Arsenal. Half-time in the Women's Super League, that game between Liverpool and Leicester. Sani Rudravajula.
And it's Liverpool 1, Leicester City 0. It's a cruel game. Leicester City thought they'd weathered the literal and metaphorical storm late into that first half, grown into it, but it was a header from Sophie Roman-Hogg. She was the top scorer for Liverpool last season, off the mark, and a ball floated in, and there she was to finish it off. Half-time, Liverpool 1, Leicester City 0.
Earlier it finished Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2. Frida Marnham and Beth Mead for Arsenal, in between Vivian Miedemar with a goal on her debut for a new club against her old club, and an absolute belter from Jess Park. Finished 2-2, and just approaching half-time in the other game of the day, it is Tottenham 1, Crystal Palace 0. We'll bring you up to date with all of the other live sport, and we'll have our first little look ahead from live inside the Etihad to Manchester City versus Arsenal, all after the news with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Premier League.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Foreign Secretary's been speaking at the Labour Party conference in Liverpool, the second big speech of the day. David Lammy says he's delighted to be in the job.
Conference, I can't tell you how it feels to stand here today, a black, working-class man from Tottenham, a child of the great Windrush generation, now back on this stage as the Foreign Secretary in a Labour government.
He accused the Conservatives of wasting the past 14 years and urged the party to work together to change the fate of our world. Earlier, the Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner told the BBC she doesn't think she broke any rules by staying at a flat in New York, which belongs to a Labour donor. She says her donations and gifts are all declared. 31 people have been arrested across the UK as part of an investigation into people smuggling gangs. The Home Office says hundreds of thousands of pounds was seized, along with fake identity documents. Hezbollah is burying a commander who was killed in an Israeli airstrike earlier this week. The funeral of Ibrahim Akil is taking place in a suburb of Beirut, which is a heartland for the militant group. And the Princess of Wales has been spotted in public for the first time since finishing her cancer treatment. Catherine was seen at a church in Aberdeenshire earlier. She announced she'd returned to public duties after completing chemotherapy.
On Radio 4, the more you listen, the more you see.
We're living under more tyranny today than our founding fathers did in 1775.
A US presidential election is looming, but underneath, conspiracy culture rears its head once again. And nothing is as it seems.
All those things that we had feared our whole lives was coming true.
Burn the house down and start over. That seems to be the way.
It's America through the looking glass. Join me, Gabriel Gatehouse, as The Coming Storm continues. Listen on Radio 4 and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1 in the Premier League. Second half commentary on the way. Looks like we're in for a really exciting finish to the PGA Championship at Wentworth, Ian Carter.
Yes, I agree with you there, Steve, because Aaron Rai is at the top of the leaderboard. Matteo Manassero having been overhauled, having dropped shots at the 9th and the 10th. Rai, one of the most improved players on the tour this year, did extremely well on the PGA Tour, became a winner there. He's just birdied the 12th to get to 18 under, so he's one ahead of Manassero. Also the South African Tristan Lawrence. Matt Baldwin is still in there, the 38-year-old from Southport. He's just picked up a birdie to get to within 2 shots of the lead, and that's where we find Rory McIlroy, who very shortly will be surveying a birdie putt at the 11th. McIlroy only 1 under for his round today, likewise Billy Horschel, so they are all in the group at 16 under, 2 shots off Aaron Rai's lead.
There is highlights as well on BBC Two from 6 o'clock. Actually, Ian, I was just reading as well some really sad news in the world of golf today as well.
Yes, Steve, very sad news. Brian Huggett, one of the most tenacious and well-respected of British golfers, has died. He was 87, that after a short illness. He was Europe's longest surviving Ryder Cup captain. He played in 6 of the matches from 1963 to 75. He was captain in 1977. You know, he was known as the Welsh Bulldog. He was born in Porthcawl. He won 16 tournaments in Europe, was joint runner-up at the Open in 1965. He won the Senior Open in 1998. He was a really passionate figure in European golf, Steve. The fellow Welshman Ian Woosnam called him a legend, and many will remember his hauntingly impassioned message that he gave to the 2018 European Ryder Cup team in a motivational video ahead of the match in Paris.
Ian, thank you very much indeed. So sorry to the family and friends of Brian Huggett as well, who's died, as Ian was saying, today at the age of 87. Just to let you know, play has now been abandoned for the day, and that one-day cup final, due to the rain at Trent Bridge to Somerset and Glamorgan, will go again or try again tomorrow. There's one match in Rugby Union's Gallagher Premiership today, Sale Sharks against Harlequins. Adam Whitty is there.
Yeah, and you've got 2 different styles going up against each other today in the final of the weekend's opening fixtures. The physical, bruising Sale Sharks, semi-finalists last year, bring in statement signing Weisei Niasalebu at outside centre. They've got George Ford and a double serving of Curry of the Ben and Tom variety in a strong side named by Alex Sanderson. They're aiming for their 4th finish in the top 4 in the past 5 seasons. Harlequins, 6th last season, have their big England names, Kerr, Smith and Marler, missing from their starting 15. They'll play free-flowing, open stuff with Wales legend Lee Halfpenny making his debut at fullback. The wrecking ball meets the ballet dancer, perhaps, Steve. Today, I think we'll have some fun.
I mean, I think traditionally there's only going to be one winner in that contest, but we'll see. Thank you very much, Adam. There's also one match in the Scottish League Cup today at Celtic Park. Celtic versus Falkirk. Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, and both teams, Steve, doing extremely well in their respective leagues. Celtic have won all 7 in all competitions. That massive win in the Champions League against Slovan Bratislava 5-1. They've won this competition 21 times. Last season went out at the second round to the hands of Kilmarnock, but there's 8 changes to the team from midweek. Alex Vale on loan from Barcelona starts at left back, and Austin Trusty, former Arsenal and Sheffield United defender, he just signed a 5-year deal. He starts. Falkirk, 1 defeat in all competitions this season. That was the Stenhouse View in the Challenge Cup. And fun fact, actually, the last time that Kasper Schmeichel played against Celtic actually was for Falkirk. He saved a penalty, which was the last time that Falkirk actually beat Celtic in 2007. I sent you a picture of the tweet, and he looks completely fresh-faced. I would suspect, though, that Celtic should cruise through this. Not to say that Kasper Schmeichel doesn't look fresh-faced now.
I was going to say, he still looks pretty baby-faced now.
He'll probably run rings around the both of us.
I suspect he will, but speak for yourself. Tell us a bit more about Hearts, Gavin, as well, because we just learned this earlier this afternoon. They've sacked the manager.
Yeah, probably a little bit of a shock, if I'm being honest. Not from a Hearts fan point of view, because there's a little bit of anger and pressure had been building at Tynecastle, but they have, after a run of 8 straight defeats, parted company with manager Stephen Naismith and his backroom staff. I thought maybe he would get 1 or 2 games. They obviously lost yesterday to St Mirren, and I say a lot of pressure had been building, but you know what it's like now, a results-driven business, and clearly the Hearts board are not don't want to hold on anymore, with them languishing at the bottom of the Scottish Premiership just now.
Cardiff City have sacked their manager as well today, Errol Bullock, currently bottom of the Championship, having picked up just 1 point from their last 6 matches. 1 game in the Championship today ended Preston 0, Blackburn 0. Both sides had a man sent off. Sam Greenwood for Preston, Owen Beck for Blackburn. Lando Norris has won the Singapore Grand Prix. Rosanna Tennant.
And he did it in style, Crossy. Yes, there was a gap of nearly 21 seconds between Lando Norris and second place finisher Max Verstappen, and of course they are the biggest title rivals at the moment. Lando Norris managing to close that gap to Verstappen in the standings. The gap now 52 points, but the podium celebrations are about to start, and it was Lando Norris ahead of Max Verstappen and the second McLaren driver, Oscar Piastri. As you can hear, everyone's a fan of what's happened this evening.
Looking forward to the Checkered Flag podcast. We'll let you know when that is available. Second half commentary on the way of Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Then full focus here at the Etihad ahead of Manchester City versus Arsenal. Correspondent John Murray is with us here in the commentary position. John, you weren't here when I asked this question earlier today, which is the question that everybody's asking, really. We know the size of the teams, we know the significance of the fixture, but the quality of the game ahead of us, I've yet to hear anybody suggest it's going to be full throttle.
No, that seems to be the general consensus, doesn't it? Yeah. And both of them having drawn 0-0 in the Champions League in midweek. The fact that Arsenal were in Italy on Thursday night for their 0-0 draw, whether that will be a factor, City having played 24 hours earlier, and personally having been here on Wednesday night for the commentary, reflecting on that, I just thought this feels like it's a Champions League match, but it's an ideal preparation for the match that they face today, playing Inter in the way that a very good Inter team played. That again also might play into Arsenal's hands.
I wonder as well if it's likely that Arsenal might set up today very similarly to how they set up against Tottenham. The reason they set up that way against Tottenham obviously was because they were without not just Ødegaard but Declan Rice as well. But they are that good at set pieces, aren't they?
Yeah. What is it now? 24 set pieces that they've scored in the Premier League since the start of last season. And I just think, Steve, that they were handed. There wasn't a great deal of talk about this before the start of the season, but the fixture list that they were given to begin this season, it almost all culminates in this. And up to this point for Arsenal, it has been so far so good. The only goal that they've let in was when they had 10 men on the field after Declan Rice had been sent off. Other than that, it's clean sheets all the way. And, to have won at Aston Villa, to have won at Tottenham, and if they're able to come and win at Manchester City, off the back of that, this would feel like a monumental statement. That's how we'd be talking about it at 6 o'clock tonight, or whatever it is, 6:30.
Especially because Mikel Arteta has been saying they've been preparing for this game since the start of pre-season. Although I suspect they weren't preparing thinking, what if we don't have Martin Ødegaard? And what if we've been away in Europe on the Thursday night?
Yeah, that was what they didn't know at the time. They knew they'd be playing in the Champions League, but as it turned out, they were playing on the Thursday night. But also, we will find out in about... what time is it now? In about 20 minutes, if Kevin De Bruyne is going to be fit after he had to go off at half-time with a little bit of a groin problem. So Arsenal don't have Ødegaard. Manchester City might not have De Bruyne.
We'll see. We'll find out very soon. We certainly know about one of them, as John was saying. John Murray, Leon Osman will be alongside him for commentary. 4:30 kickoff. We're live here at the Etihad Stadium. We've been here since noon, and since then the world's media have joined and amassed us. I can see Peter Schmeichel down there, pitch side as well, of course. Very famously played for Manchester United, but played here for Manchester City as well. And I'm sure it's going to be a very, very interesting game, if nothing else. Right, let's take you back to Brighton, shall we? Brighton versus Nottingham Forest. Second half commentary with Stephen Warnock and Ali Bruce-Ball.
Thank you, Steve. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1 at half-time. Stephen Warnock has got 3 stickers attached to his fingers with the names Nico Williams, Ryan Yates and Jota Silva on, because, Stephen, Nuno's going to make a triple change at half-time.
Yeah, I understood the Nico Williams one because I was looking at Ola Aina, who'd been booked. I was looking at Moreno, who'd picked up an injury in the first half, so I could see that one. But then I'm just wondering where Yates and where Jota Silva are perhaps going to come into this game.
Yeah, you nearly got busted with your fingers rustling away in the bag of jelly babies there as well, but that's after I've knocked a whole bag of wine gums off the off
much to the disappointment of the whole crew.
I'm gutted about that. Brighton leading 2-1 then at half-time, and as we've been saying today, as it stands, that puts Brighton in the top 4. If Manchester City beat Arsenal this evening, that would keep the winners of this game in the top 4. Brighton's goal difference actually going to +6, so win this and an Arsenal draw, and they would still be in the top 4. Plenty of football, though, to be played before that happens. Ina's come back out.
Yeah, it's Moreno who's come off. Yeah, and then it's also James Ward-Prowse.
Right.
Which is very interesting. So I'm guessing he's picked up an injury, because I thought the relationship between Ward-Prowse and Anderson was working extremely well.
Here we go then. Ryan Yates on for James Ward-Prowse, as Stephen Warnock was just saying. Jota Silva, one of the summer signings, the Portuguese, who's joined from Vitória Guimarães, has come on for Anthony Elanga. And Nico Williams on at left back in place of Alex Moreno. Dark clouds still above, but we're yet to be hit by the rain. Brighton playing from right to left in this second half. Lots of fans all around the ground still making their way back to their seats. Brighton in the blue and white vertical stripes, but pretty much all white, the back of the shirt, so you can clearly see those blue numbers. Lewis Dunk wears number 5, his 460th appearance for his beloved Brighton and Hove Albion. For Lewis Dunk this afternoon, Nottingham Forest in the red shirts, white shorts and red socks, and Brighton have the ball and have the lead in this game as well. Trailed for a lot of the first half. Chris Wood's penalty giving Nottingham Forest the lead. Jack Hinshelwood's header in the 42nd minute made it 1-1. Danny Welbeck's free kick from just outside the area giving Brighton the lead in added time at the end of the first half. Looked like a handball from Nico Williams. Mitoma's first touch took the ball into Williams, outstretched arm. Free kick for Brighton wide on the left, and Williams is booked for a deliberate handball.
Yeah, blatant, really blatant, and just a bit of housekeeping. Nico Williams comes into that right back position. Ola Aina switches across onto the other side. Callum Hudson-Odoi, who played on the right in the first half, is now across onto the left, and Jota Silva is that left high at the wide right position. We'll get there in the end, and then Ryan Yates slips in alongside Elliot Anderson in midfield.
Right, we've got a serious problem now because fans still coming back in the row in front of us. As I said at the start of the game, these seats don't enable us to stand. Brighton are about to take a free kick away to our left, and they've all sat down just in time. Thank you very much indeed, Brighton fans. 1.5 minutes gone, second half. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Estupinian with the free kick. Good pace on that, just behind Ruter. His header goes across the face of goal. Aina half clears for Nottingham Forest. Very quiet inside the stadium at the start of this second half. Excitement now, though. Ruter on the ball. Left-footed shot, just knocked off balance as he hit it by Ryan Yates. No free kick, and Jack Hinshelwood goes sprinting back into his own half and will play back to his goalkeeper, Bruggen. I thought you were going to say just a bit of housekeeping. By the way, you had 18 of those wine gums. I only had 9, and you owe me half a bag of wine gums. So I thought that's what the housekeeping.
Well, if the people in front of us will look on the floor, they'll find about 20 on the floor. So yeah,
oh dear.
I'm disappointed, Ali.
Clumsy,
really am.
Clumsy from me. Match of the day 2 tonight, 10:30 at BBC One, followed by the women's football show at 11:30. First weekend of the WSL season. One result so far today. Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2. Not too far away from John Murray bringing us the team news of Manchester City Arsenal in the Premier League as well. Mitoma becoming more of a factor as this game goes on, and they are struggling to deal with him. Runs away from Jota Silva, nearly got past Nico Williams. Gibbs White is there, just cushions a little pass back to Milenkovic with the short shaven brown hair. So Ryan Yates now in central midfield, on for James Ward-Prowse. Milenkovic plays across to Williams, who's now at right back, as Stephen was explaining, with Aina over on the left hand side. Here's Williams again, passes back into his own box, and Milenkovic has to hurry to get that. He does so, plays back to his goalkeeper Sells into the Brighton half, easily dealt with by Veltman, who nods it across to Van Hecke, who comes back to his goalkeeper Verbruggen. And as we were saying at half time, Stephen, Joao Pedro is named amongst the Brighton substitutes. As long as they remain ahead, you'd imagine he'll stay on the bench, I guess.
Yeah, I would have thought so, just to protect him, give him an extra little bit of time to get his a little bit more work on the injury, make sure that he's fully up to speed. He's such an important player for Brighton. He makes them play in a completely different way, and I think he's one of those players who's going to excite everyone for the rest of the Premier League season.
Van Hecke's ball is a nice one through the lines to Ruter. Ruter playing in that Joao Pedro position today. Passes to the right. Adingra's cross blocked by Aina, cleared by Murillo, and out for a throw. Brighton got a little bit unlucky with Joao Pedro because he wasn't initially called up for international duty. Someone dropped out, he came in, got injured in the second game, has come back and hasn't played since.
ABB, we're terrible at our jobs here because I think they're readying him to come on. He's just having a chat and down below, and the saying to him where they want him to be, giving him information. I find that fascinating because you'd be thinking, yeah, he obviously feels that he's up to speed, he's over his injury. They're not bothered, they want him on the pitch.
It's a bit like Fabian Hertz was saying as well, right, 2-1 not good enough, I want more, let's get a third and a fourth and kill this game and not give Nottingham Forest a look in. Smashed up in the air by Hudson-Odoi, bounces midway inside the Nottingham Forest half. Belieber, high header, awkward for Van Hecke. Did really well. Wood was jumping with him, he allowed him to jump and then turned and kept the ball. Mitoma, great first touch, up against Williams. Nico Williams got a problem here. Mitoma on the inside, finds Welbeck, one touch, onto the right foot, still Welbeck, trying to get away from Anderson, still Welbeck! A deflection, takes it wide. Danny Welbeck with the twinkle toes, dancing through defenders. And then the final shot, poked towards goal, deflected wide of the target for a corner.
Beautiful from Mitoma. Receives the ball with the outside of his right foot. It's absolutely perfectly played into Danny Welbeck, and then them dancing feet as he weaves his way in and out. Little chop inside, nutmegs Anderson. Anderson goes to ground, and then credit to the goalkeeper, Matt Sells. He comes out, stops the ball with his feet. But that would have been outstanding from Danny Welbeck.
What a goal that would have been from Danny Welbeck. He's already got one today, a Stupinian. This is a high, away swinging corner. Van Hecke nods it down into the Nottingham Forest penalty area, and it's cleared away. Hinshelwood, the last man back for Brighton, plays back to the goalkeeper, Verbruggen. Bart Verbruggen in goal. Joel Veltman at right back. Van Hecke and Dunk, the two centre-backs. Stupinian has started at left back today. Great skills from Ruter to beat Gibbs White. The pass not quite good enough to find Adingra, and Murillo just shepherds it out of play. So Hinshelwood and Belieber in central midfield for Brighton. Adingra, Mitoma the wingers. Jorginho, Ruter playing off Danny Welbeck. We think Joao Pedro might be coming on sometime soon. And Nottingham Forest with the 3 changes at half-time, so we'll talk you through their team again in just a second. Elliot Anderson, still in central midfield, is down and has won a free kick. Scottish League Cup, early goal Celtic, Falkirk, Gavin Wallace.
And not the way you'd think, Ali. It's a goal for Falkirk, 12 on the clock. Ross McIver, ball over towards Aguiman. He held it up well, and then McIver ran onto it and put it well beyond Kasper Schmeichel. A shock start. Celtic 0, Falkirk 1.
Aberdeen, Rangers and Motherwell so far the teams through the semi-finals of the League Cup, at Celtic behind early on. Good turn from Belieber for Brighton, running away from Gibbs White. Outside of his left foot, finds Mitoma, slows it down. Draws Jota Silva in, plays it back to Estupinian, forward to Hinshelwood, laid off to Welbeck. Welbeck caresses a low pass to his right to Adingra. Adingra's cross in, Hinshelwood up again. Jota Silva took a risk, tried a little chest control, but sort of leaned towards it with his left arm. There were sort of half-hearted appeals from the Brighton fans. Mitoma too good. Holds Silva off, keeps it for Brighton, having a bit of fun there. Finds Estupinian to Mitoma, lets it run across him. Cross in with his left foot to the far post, and Forest get a couple of bodies in the way. It's Murillo who eventually volleys it away. They cannot deal with Mitoma at the moment. And then Chris Wood has accidentally caught Belieber in the head there. Belieber was stumbling, Wood was jumping. Belieber's down, he's going to be okay. Free kick for Brighton.
But Mitoma fascinates me. He seems to do things in slow motion when he's on the ball, but then he's got this incredible injection of pace from nowhere. Stands still, and then he just glides past people as if they're not there. And that was a delightful ball with the left foot, drills it across the box, and you're just waiting for the net to rustle, someone to get on the end of it, but good defending from Murillo.
Stephen Warnock with us here at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Van Hecker's free kick, 40 yards out central position, immediately finds Mitoma. What a touch, brilliant control. Past Silva, left-footed cross, volleyed effort from Ruta is blocked. Sells doesn't have to make the save. Williams plays it away. Nottingham Forest are hanging on here at the moment.
Oh, give it Mitoma. Just give it Mitoma every single time. He's so difficult to play against. They're finding it so hard. They're trying to double up on him 2v1, but such is his quality. He's gliding past two players, and Nico Williams has also been booked.
Yeah, do you think when Nico Williams came on and they said right back, he said, are you sure you don't want me at left back? Maybe Ola could continue it at right back. Forest leading Brighton 2-1.
What a run.
Oh, he's made the run, and Estupinian's pass can't quite find him. Better for Williams, who's able to bring the ball away. Jota Silva looking for the run of Williams. Hinshelwood tells Williams to get to his feet. Williams went down quite theatrically as the two were running together. Another goal in the WSL game between Liverpool and Leicester. Sani Radravajala.
9 minutes into the second half, and Leicester have equalised. Liverpool 1. Leicester 1. It's Juta Rantara, diagonal ball to her, and a cool finish. Liverpool 1, Leicester 1.
Adingra, step over on the edge of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Couple of tricks. Forest get enough bodies around. Ryan Yates is one of them. He's tackled by Belieber, and it goes out for a throw into Nottingham Forest in the left back position. So Matt Sells in goal, Nico Williams right back, Ola Reiner left back, Milenkovic and Murillo continue as the centre backs. We've got Ryan Yates on alongside Elliot Anderson in central midfield, and then Jota Silva, Morgan Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi and Chris Wood through the middle. Wood to 72 Premier League goals. We were talking about that before the start of this game, and Danny Welbeck with his goal up to 70. Here's Ruter. Welbeck might want to cross here in the middle. Ruter's tackled for now. The ball breaks loose on the edge of the penalty area. Danny Welbeck tries to get a toe on it. Forest clear it away again.
Everything's last ditch from Nottingham Forest. That's where you know that the game's really stretched for them. They're finding it difficult. There's no composure. This is now for Brighton to try and make the most of this. Another goal could effectively kill the game off for them.
Brighton again working the ball through midfield. Belieber side foots it to Estupinian. Mitoma just back heels it. Estupinian runs beyond him, can't keep it in play, and it goes out for a throw to Nottingham Forest in their right back position. So they have to try and find a way back into this game, find a footing in this game. Brighton all over them at the moment. Brighton leading by 2-1. Here's Williams with his throw. Nottingham Forest getting ready to make another change. Ramon Sosa, the Paraguayan, stripped off and ready to go. Nuno's in his ear at the moment, so that would be 4 of the 5 changes made very early in the game. Sliding challenges won by Ruter. Mitoma at it again. Little cutback. Welbeck's shot brilliantly blocked by Murillo. Veltman comes charging forward. Aina gets there first, flicks the pass to the left-hand side. Hudson-Odoi onto it for Nottingham Forest. Speeds up to the halfway line, then passes back into his own half. They nearly give it away. Murillo just has to play a first-time ball forward to no one in particular, and it comes all the way through to Bartlett Bruggen.
The pressing from Brighton so much better in this second half. Nottingham Forest can't string 2 passes together. They're finding it so difficult to get out. Completely different second half from Brighton compared to the first. Complete dominance and control.
As we heard from Sani, Liverpool 1, Leicester 1 in the WSL. Tottenham 2, Crystal Palace 0. Those games in the second half. It finished Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2, and as Gavin Wallace was telling us, Scottish League Cup quarter-final, Celtic 0, Falkirk 1. It kicked off at 3 o'clock, so early stages there. Ruter's ball to Adingra. Adingra down by the byline on the right, just drives the cross in hard, tries to go through the legs of the defender, blocked, and behind it goes for a Brighton corner. Sosa is still waiting to come on for Nottingham Forest. And Estupinian is cheered to the rafters as he goes jogging towards the ball to take this corner for Brighton, which will come in from the right flank for them. Places the ball very carefully on the edge of the quadrant. Assistant referee just leaning over to check everything is just so. Estupinian then holds that left arm in the air. Belieber's lurking on the edge of the box, and it comes to the near post. Veltman stoops and heads it straight up in the air. Hudson-Odoi nods it down almost to himself there, but can't collect it. Adingra plays wide. Cross comes in from the right. Dunk is still up there. He's beaten in the air. Forrest get it away, but only as far as Welbeck. Welbeck turns and plays to Belieber. Hinshelwood. Estupinian, little trick from him. Driven shot 25 yards out is blocked and falls to the very last man Nottingham Forest want to get the ball at the moment. That's Mitoma. On the left. Mitoma this time doesn't dart for the byline. He comes back into midfield, plays to Estupinian. 12 minutes gone in the second half. Sky's brightening here on the south coast. Brighton leading Nottingham Forest by 2-1. Hinshelwood cross to Van Hecke. Van Hecke strokes a right-footed pass which Veltman's going to have to work hard to keep in. He can't. It goes behind for the goal kick. Final round of the BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth. What is the latest, Ian Carter?
Building to quite a climax here. Aaron Rai with company at the top of the leaderboard at 18 under par as he plays the 15th. Tristan Lawrence on the 14th at 18 under par, and with an eagle 3 at the 12th. Billy Horschel also at 18 under par, as is Matteo Manacero, who's birdied that 12th. Rory McIlroy 1 behind that quartet.
Wow,
what a leaderboard. Hold on until we're finished. Just a couple of playoff holes would be lovely, wouldn't it?
BBC 2, 6 o'clock tonight for the highlights. Ian will keep us posted. Those highlights will remain on the iPlayer as well. And hearing those names, Lawrence and Horschel, reminds me where I saw you last before today, because I was watching them at the Open at Troon, right, and I bumped into you there, didn't I, watching the golf?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah.
What a round from Manacero yesterday.
Oh, 63, I know, yeah. Here's Ruter. Oh, good run from Ruter. Gibbs White can't handle him, drags him back. Free kick Brighton in the middle of the Nottingham Forest half, and Morgan Gibbs White gets a booking. Sosa came on, by the way, while we were away for the golf with Ian, for Elliot Anderson.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So a complete change in midfield, from looking so organised in midfield, and now there's been a little bit of a change. I think Morgan Gibbs White has possibly gone alongside Sosa and Yates to make a 3. That's just lost the dynamic of being able to break forward for Nottingham Forest. I can't remember the last time Nottingham Forest strung 3 passes together. It just hasn't happened in this half at all.
Manchester City Arsenal on the way. Full commentary on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Van Hecke waiting to take the free kick. Low one to Estupinian. Brighton leading 2-1, looking to make it more comfortable with the third goal. Mitoma just knocks that ball into the legs of Williams, gets the rebound, plays it back to Dunk. Dunk forward to Mitoma. Mitoma across to Van Hecke. Next break in play. We're going to get the team news from the Etihad Stadium ahead of that game, Manchester City against Arsenal. Nottingham Forest have won it inside their own half. Hudson-Odoi plays to Yates. Yates, longer ball over the top. Sosa looking for a first touch. High foot as Dunk stooped to win the header. Dunk's done really well. 2 headers he's won. The second one, he nods back to his goalkeeper, Verbruggen, who holds onto the ball for a second or two. Couple of changes coming for Brighton here. Yankuba Minte is going to see some time, and Mats Wiefer as well, the Dutchman, in his first season at the club, having signed from Feyenoord, started the first Premier League game of the season against Everton, picked up an injury, back involved now. So Wiefer and Minte will be coming on shortly for Brighton. As I say, next break in play, we'll get that team news ahead of our second Premier League commentary of the day, which is going to be Manchester City Arsenal. Brighton have it with Lewis Dunk. Dunk striding forward inside his own half, ball at his feet. That's a foul, I think, on Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood goes down. Brighton are going to take their time over this, and they're going to make the substitutions. Let's get the team news from John Murray.
Well, the news in rainy Manchester is no Kevin De Bruyne for Manchester City for the big match. He was a doubt for this one. He is not involved, De Bruyne. So 3 changes from the Champions League here on Wednesday. Walker is in for Lewis. Doku starts instead of Grealish, so City will have Doku and Savinho in the wide positions, and Gundogan into the midfield. So City, Ederson, Walker, Akanji, Diaz and Gvardiol. Then Rodri with Bernardo Silva and Gundogan. Savinho and Doku either side of Haaland. And for Arsenal, an unexpected change to the Arsenal defence. Calafiori starts. Ben White is only a substitute. Their other change from Thursday, Trossard in for Jesus. So Raya in goal. We are thinking Timber at right back, Calafiori at left back, Saliba and Gabriel the central defenders, then Partey with Havertz and Rice, Saka, who's captain today, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli on the left and Trossard through the middle.
Thank you, John. He's got Leon Osman aside him for the commentary today, who did Gag of the Week for me this week ahead of the Atalanta-Arsenal game on Thursday night. Because when Ian Dennis was about to deliver the team news, Mark Chapman announced it was National Speak Like a Pirate Day, and he wanted Ian to deliver the team news in his best Pirates accent. I'll come back to it in a second. Here's Hudson-Odoi, space on the left-hand side. Brighton defenders backing off into the penalty area, onto his left foot, still twisting and turning. Right-footed shot blocked near the goal line, comes out of the Brighton box. Gibbs White side foots it here to Williams. Williams high cross towards the far post, nodded behind by Joel Veltman, and that will be a corner for Nottingham Forest.
Bit of afters.
Well spotted, Stephen. Jota Silva involved, Veltman involved. Referee steps in very quickly. Brighton fans shouting off, so they think they've seen something that Jota Silva has done there.
He just shoves him, he just pushes him. They get tangled up together and Jota pushes him down to the ground. Referee Robert Jones gives him a yellow card just to say, just calm down, there's no need for it.
Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1. I'm going to get to the punchline of the story in just a second. Minte and Vifa on for Baliba and Adingra. Those are the two Brighton changes while John was bringing us the team news. Nottingham Forest corner on the way. Tempers rising a little at the Amex Stadium. Still more than 25 minutes to go. Corner for Nottingham Forest will be delivered from the left. Plenty of red shirts around Bart Verbruggen, the Brighton keeper. Referee Robert Jones finally happy, blows the whistle. Here it comes into the near post, flicked on and caught by Verbruggen. That was moving at pace, and he did well to hold on to that.
I think it was Danny Welbeck at the front post who actually gets a touch on it. Yeah, it was a very awkward corner as it came in.
Yeah,
it might have been a Stupinian, but it was dangerous. Interestingly, Ali, I find this all the time now. Whenever there's a corner or a set piece, you see the set piece coach standing on the edge of the technical area, barking orders, making sure. And the Brighton technical coach or set piece coach is out on the edge of the box. Manager sits down.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Villa do the same, don't they?
Yeah.
I saw that on Tuesday. Austin McPherson was out there, and Unai Emery goes and sits down. Brighton attacking down the right-hand side. Minte involved in the game straight away, and Vifa as well, but too much on that pass, and it comes through to Matt Sells. Celtic Falkirk. There's been another goal in that game. Gavin Wallace.
There has indeed. I was about to say Celtic as wasteful as you boys with a packet of wine gums. However, Rio Hatate with a great ball in, headed back across by Alex Valle, and Paulo Bernardo, sweet as a nut on the volley, put it well beyond Hogarth in goals. Celtic 1, Falkirk 1.
Yeah, that's Gavin, where preparation is everything. Wine gums are gone, but the jelly babies are still here, you see. So Stephen was prepared. Stephen was prepared. So Ian Dennis then refuses to do the team news in a Pirates voice, and I sort of understand that. And then Leon Osman, quick in a flash, talks about Urian Shiver Me Timbers playing at left back.
Oh, no.
I just thought that was fantastic. Chapeau to Leon, who's sitting alongside John Murray for the commentary this afternoon, and he's also our guest on the Fantasy 606 podcast this week. Very brave of Leon to come on the pod. We'll be recording that Tuesday morning. If you're a fantasy football manager or not, make sure you give us a listen. Plenty in there for everyone.
Does he do fantasy?
Oh, Leon.
Does he?
He's keen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had the capability to do that.
Free kick for Nottingham Forest comes deep into the box, and it clears everyone, and it's going to go out for a throw-in to Brighton in the left back position. Rugby Union this afternoon, first weekend of the Gallagher Premiership. Sale against Harlequins, kicked off at 3 o'clock. Adam Whitty.
25 minutes gone. George Ford penalty means Sale lead by 3 points to 0. That's come from Sharks' dominance in the scrum. Tito Lamataseli, the Quins tight head, getting a pounding by Bevan Rod. The weather making handling and any attacking fluency difficult. 25 minutes gone. Sale 3, Quins 0.
Blimey, hearts in mouths here from the Brighton fans. Bart Verbruggen was a second away there from Chris Wood, just putting his foot on the ball and knocking it over the goal line. He got the pass away just in time. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 1, and we're sort of waiting for this game to kind of re-establish its rhythm because so many changes have been made in the last few minutes or so. A couple for Brighton. Nottingham Forest have already made 4, 3 of those at half-time. Forest coming forward with Milenkovic. Milenkovic rolls the pass to Nico Williams, brings it infield away from Mitoma, back to Milenkovic. Ryan Yates is involved on the halfway line. Across to Murillo, drives a low pass forward down the inside left channel, straight through to Bart Verbruggen, who picks it up and holds on for now. Nuno pacing impatiently. Fabian Herzler, the 31-year-old, stroking his chin thoughtfully. The Brighton boss. Van Hecke into the feet of Hinshelwood. Forward from Mats Wiefer. Then Jorginho Ruter plays to the right, and Minte up against Aina, falls to the floor. Brighton keep the ball. Good skills from Ruter. Ruter across to Welbeck, 25 yards out with his back to the Nottingham Forest goal. Back to Ruter, and here's his Stupinian across to Mitoma on the left. This time he goes on his right foot infield. Forward to Welbeck, touch, layoff, edge of the box. Hinshelwood looking for Welbeck again. Another touch, back to goal inside the Nottingham Forest penalty area. He's able to turn 180 degrees, gets his pass back here to Wiefer. Fed to Dunk. Dunk not quite sure what to do, but finds a pass to his right to Veltman, and Nottingham Forest eventually force Brighton back to the halfway line. But the passing from Brighton, the movement, very impressive. They're coming from a different angle of attack now. It's Minte on the right-hand side. He cuts infield, corner of the box, cross comes in. Williams diving header away, only as far as the edge of the box. Flicked up in the air, controlled by Welbeck. Welbeck's tackled, and then he's committed a foul on Ramon Sosa, edge of the Nottingham Forest penalty area, and Nottingham Forest will get a free kick.
Well, I heard the scream from here from Ramon Sosa, and then he gets back up to his feet straight away. I mean, the ball, he wins the ball, Danny Welbeck. You hear the scream, and the referee goes for the scream and gives the free kick, when it was actually Welbeck wins the ball. Incredible.
That's the voice of Stephen Warnock, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Manchester City, Arsenal on the way. Calafiori starts. Jurrien Timber, we think, is going to be playing right back. No Kevin De Bruyne for Manchester City. And at the start of the game, City on 12 points, Arsenal on 10 points. And after the game tonight, Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will want to hear from you on 606. Great football from Nottingham Forest. Jota Silva is in the clear, running through one-on-one, plays it across to Ramon Sosa, and that is 2-2. And that's come out of nothing in the second half, but it's a brilliant move. Started deep in the Nottingham Forest half. They managed to get the 2 substitutes away, and Silva wasn't selfish. Approached the goalkeeper Verbruggen, laid it off to Sosa, and Sosa sticks it away. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2.
Well, he's been brave with his substitutions, Nuno Espirito Santo, and they've paid off for him. They've been second best throughout this second half, but now they've just started to find a few gaps in behind, and then it's about, can you pick the right pass? Can you do the right thing when you're going through at goal? And really good play by Jota Silva. Squares the ball. He doesn't try and take the shot on himself. He makes sure that he sees his teammate, who's in acres of space, passes it on a plate for him and puts it into an empty net. But that's far too easy from Nottingham Forest to cut through Brighton. The ball from Morgan Gibbs-White, excellent. He's been outstanding for Nottingham Forest. Killer pass, splits the heart of midfield, splits the 2 centre-halves. Outstanding goal from Nottingham Forest on the counter-attack.
Murillo's ball, sweeping ball from deep into the feet of Chris Wood. Lovely layout from the centre forward. And then, as Stephen says, the killer pass, the crucial pass, is played by Gibbs-White down the inside left channel. Video assistant referee just having a look at a potential offside, but Veltman was playing Jota Silva onside. He ran clean through. They were never going to catch him. And good support from Ramon Sosa. Watch the goal tonight, match of the day 2. BBC One at 10:30.
Well, Steve Crossman spoke about before the game about Morgan Gibbs-White, the type of player he is and what's so good about him. That's what's good about him. He's been very influential in the first half. He stayed within the game, but that moment of quality that you're looking for, can you pick the right weight? Can you see the pass? Can you execute it? Everything that you're asking from an influential player, he's able to do.
Joao Pedro is on for Brighton. They've been pegged back to 2-2. The key man is on, immediately involved in the action, beats his man, lays it back into the penalty area, can't find Mitoma, and Murillo clears. Jorginho Ruter has been replaced by Joao Pedro. We're into the last 20 minutes. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2. There's going to be a fantastic finish at Wentworth. What's happening, Ian Carter?
Tristan Lawrence hit the front on his own with a birdie at the 14th, the South African, but he's just been joined by Billy Horshaw, who has followed up his eagle on 12 with a birdie at 13th. They're both at 19 under. Aaron Ryan, Matteo Manacero at 18 under. Rory McIlroy at 17 under. All these players coming down the stretch.
Thank you, Ian. Back to you shortly. Great drama at Wentworth. Chris Wood is off, and Nottingham Forest have brought a Brazilian centre back on in his place. Centre forward comes off. Morato comes on. We've got Morato and Murillo.
Yeah, great. Can't wait. They've gone to a 3 at the back. They've gone to a 3-5-2. Morato comes on at the left side of the centre half. Murillo in the middle.
Yeah, and Moreno not playing anymore, which actually helps us out. Nottingham Forest then, back to 2-2. Gibbs-White with the brilliant pass, now tackled by Hinshelwood just outside his own penalty area, and that will be a free kick for Nottingham Forest. So Gibbs-White will take his time. Just wipes the sweat off his brow with his red Nottingham Forest shirt. Nuno Espirito Santo in the ear of Nico Williams. We were talking about the great Brian Clough before the game. It was 20 years ago on Friday that Brian Clough sadly left us. Of course, not only a Nottingham Forest manager where he had great success, but a Brighton and Hove Albion manager as well. An incredible bit, a couple of pages in today's programme about his time here and how it all came about. Brighton were in the 3rd division at the time, and Brian Clough had fallen out with the chairman at Derby, so ended up here with Peter Taylor. It all started pretty well, unbeaten for the first 4 league games. Then they met Walton and Hersham in the FA Cup, got beaten 4-0. The next game was a league game against Bristol Rovers and lost it 8-2. And then after that, Brian Clough went on his way and went off to Leeds United. We know all about that story as well. Then he ended up at Nottingham Forest and has set standards that are going to be impossible to achieve for any manager following on at Nottingham Forest. Their only ever league title in 78, the back-to-back European Cups in 1979 and 1980 as well. And I thought Nuno Espirito Santo spoke so well about Clough before this game this week. Estupinian's cross from the left-hand side into the far post is headed away. Brighton coming back, looking to try and get themselves back in front. Minte wide on the right, flicks the ball up in the air, controls it well, cross comes in. Joao Pedro can't quite get there. Sosa heads it away for Nottingham Forest. Now Brighton will come looking for the 3rd goal here, could open it up for Nottingham Forest. We could be in for an absolutely cracking finish here at the Amex Stadium. Minte tries to find Vifa. Jota Silva gets his body in the way. Brighton come again down the right with Hinshelwood. Hinshelwood lays it off, cross in from Veltman, high in the air, easy to catch for Mats Sells. Just over 15 minutes to play. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Good game, isn't it, Stephen?
Yeah, really good game. I mean, they don't have now, Nottingham Forest, that pace of Elanga and on the side, but they've still got Hudson-Odoi who's clever. But what they've brought on in Jota Silva and Ramon Sosa is guile, is clever players. They're getting themselves just in between the lines, they're breaking the line. It's through again, but this time Jota Silva goes ever so slightly too early. But they're posing a different question now to Brighton, how they want to defend against them.
15 minutes remaining in this game, then back to the Etihad Stadium. All the final build up to the kick-off at 4:30. Manchester City against Arsenal, own full here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Estupinian to Joao Pedro, back here to Vifa, driving run forward, central position 30 yards out. Van Hecker, Brighton so high up the field here, the entire back 4 about 40 yards from Forest goal. Joao Pedro on the dribble, little ball into the box, couldn't quite find Welbeck. He was going for that little give and go, rolled it in towards Welbeck, wanted the return pass, didn't find Welbeck. Van Hecker comes trotting forward, curls it out to the left. Mitoma again, velvet first touch, low cross into the penalty area. Murillo heads it away. Vifa gets to that ball first, heads it to his left-hand side, and Lewis Dunk is able to keep it in play.
Well, such is the way that Brighton play. They don't have a focal point in centre-forward position. Joao Pedro's now looking to come off the front players, and Danny Welbeck is playing the same way. So when the ball goes into wide areas, it's very easy for Nottingham Forest to defend because they're outnumbering Brighton at every opportunity.
Can see what's coming in the last 15 minutes of this game. Brighton very high up the field, everyone pushing forward, and as soon as Nottingham Forest get the chance, they are going to try and go quickly with the pace of Hudson-Odoi and Jota Silva, who's up there as well. Mitoma, clever turn and pass to Estupinian into the penalty area. Still Estupinian, a couple of red-shirted defenders in his way, and then he gets the ball caught between his feet and didn't release it early enough. Jota Silva lays it off to Gibbs-White. Touch from Gibbs-White inside his own half, surrounded by Brighton players, holds on to it for Nottingham Forest, and now Nuno is pointing where he wants the ball played, and Nottingham Forest do his bidding. Here's Yates, went down easily there under the challenge from João Pedro. Referee doesn't give a free kick. João Pedro knocks it out for a Nottingham Forest throw on the right. All the reaction and analysis, as always, in the Football Daily podcast on the BBC Sounds app. That's where you'll find your 5 Live boxing as well. All the reaction to the big fight last night, Daniel Dubois' win at Wembley Stadium. There's an hour of 5 Live boxing on Monday night, actually at 9 o'clock after the Monday Night Club. Tuesday night we're into League Cup commentaries on 5 Live. Wimbledon, Newcastle on Tuesday, Liverpool, West Ham on Wednesday. And a try in the game between Sale and Harlequins. Adam Whitty.
It's Harlequins' try. 34 minutes gone. Sale 6, Harlequins 5. The forwards barrelling over after the catch and drive 5 metres out. Jack Walker at the back of the rolling maul to dive over. Missed conversion, so it's Sale 6, Quins 5 with 34 minutes gone.
First weekend of the Gallagher Premiership. Bath beat Northampton. Bristol won at Newcastle. Leicester winners at Exeter. Saracens winners at Gloucester yesterday as well. Here's Estupiñán. Back to Vifa. Vifa across here to Lewis Dunk, central position 30 yards out. Ball is on his right foot, didn't fancy hitting it with that one. Lays it off to Van Hecker. Van Hecker creeping forward, and all he can see in front of him are red shirts, and he's trying to pick out those in blue and white. He's done that. Cross in from Minte on the right, blocked by Morato. Corner for Brighton. Stephen Warner.
Well, could this be the way that Brighton find a way to get ahead from a set piece? Nottingham Forest being very resilient since getting that goal back and going level at 2-2. Extra numbers, extra bodies in the box, but now it's about communication, organisation. For Brighton, it's all about that quality of delivery.
Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Here comes the corner. Estupiñán is waiting. Robert Jones is happy, waves his arm in. It comes, good ball. Headed away though by Milenkovic, I think, for Forest. Veltman controls and side foots it right back into his own half and towards his goalkeeper for Bruggen. Tottenham 3, Crystal Palace 0. Latest scoreline in the WSL. Still Liverpool 1, Leicester 1. Brighton with Estupiñán on the right. Cross towards the far post. Easy one for Aina to head away. Hinshelwood puts Sosa under pressure. Sosa in the right back position, placed to Aina. Here's Yates. Yates back to Aina again. All he can do is dig his left foot under the ball, sends it spinning high in the air, drops on the halfway line. Lewis Dunk chests it down. Jota Silva blocks his pass forward. Vifa onto it for Brighton. Tall man in central midfield. Side-footed ball finds Estupiñán on the left. Couple of touches, looks up, gets that cross in. Murillo heads it away. Yates does well to react and control that. Turns away from João Pedro. Plays it to Ola Aina. Aina's little dink ball down the right. Dunk is able to let that run out of play for a throw into Brighton, and Vifa wants that immediately. Just over 10 minutes plus added time to go. Evan Ferguson getting the training top off and getting ready to get out there for Brighton. Overhit pass from Hudson-Odoi looking for Jota Silva. He'd run left, the pass went right.
Well, Jota Silva made a really good run, but there was no eye contact, so he didn't know when the pass was going to come from Hudson-Odoi.
João Pedro, edge of the Forest box, right-footed shot, big deflection, took all the pace of it, bounces once, and Matt Sells is able to just jog to his right and collect the ball for Nottingham Forest.
Good for Milenkovic, make sure he gets out, gets the shot, gets his body in line with the ball and the shot, because they're able to release one of the players out of that back three to go and press.
Long high clearance downfield, the ball bounces just outside the Brighton area. Lewis Dunk heads it. He knew what he was doing there, but Bruggen had come right out to the edge of the box, and you're thinking for a second, oh my goodness, he's going to head that over his keeper. Cushioned it perfectly into his hands. Mitoma running from a bit deeper here, just inside the Forest half, bringing the ball across the half from left to right. Finds Minte. Veltman speeding past him on the outside. Minte just loses that in the dribble. Aina is over there and makes the tackle. Ferguson waiting to come on for Brighton. It goes out for a Nottingham Forest throw. Ladies from Wentworth, Ian Carter.
Rory McIlroy joins the party, rolls in a 12-footer for a birdie 2 at the 14th, 18 under par, one shot off the lead, jointly held by Tristan Lawrence and Billy Horschel.
I'm thinking playoff, Stephen. I think you're right. I think that could be a late finish.
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so. It's been brilliant to watch.
Yeah.
Really has.
Yeah. Highlights tonight, BBC 2 at 6 o'clock. Estupiñán off, Ferguson on for Brighton. Can either of these two teams, both unbeaten so far in the Premier League this season, force a winner in what's been an absolutely absorbing game. We're hoping for exactly the same from Manchester City against Arsenal later on. So Brighton just reorganising. A lot of chatter amongst the Brighton fans around us at the moment.
I'm just looking at Matoma's position. It's almost like he's gone as a left full-back because he's not up against anyone as Forrest come forward.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi finds Jota Silva. Jota Silva into the box, fizzes it in with his left foot to the near post for Bruggen. Catches it, so much space for Brighton to work with. Slings it out towards João Pedro.
Brilliant
Gibbs White comes thundering in, slides in and takes the ball. João Pedro is down hurt, but Gibbs White got the ball, then a bit of the man, and the referee says no free kick. Gibbs White is on the yellow card at the moment.
Well, they want to foul the Brighton bench, but it's not. It's excellently timed from Morgan Gibbs White. He catches João Pedro and he rocks his ankle underneath the challenge, but he sent him off.
Yeah. Second yellow card becomes a red. Now that's an interesting one from Robert Jones because he's taken time to make that decision. Nuno Espirito Santo is absolutely livid and he is having to be held back from getting to Robert Jones. Morgan Gibbs White is right in the face of Anthony Taylor as well.
The manager.
Gibbs White is off. And Fabian Hurtzler
been sent off as well.
The Brighton
and now
boss.
Nuno's going to go as well, you know. He has.
Yeah, he has. Both managers off. Wow. Flashpoint extreme here at the Amex Stadium. Gibbs White comes racing across on a yellow card and leaps into the challenge. At pace, caught João Pedro. The question is, was it a yellow card? Did he get any of the ball? Initially, to the naked eye, Stephen, you thought that was a brilliant covering tackle from Morgan Gibbs White. The thing there for me is Robert Jones takes his time. Now, VAR can't get involved in a yellow card. They could get involved in a potential red card, but he's given him a second yellow leading to the red. I wonder whether Anthony Taylor's, like you were saying in the first half, has had a better view of the tackle and maybe got a message on to Robert Jones. Nuno Espirito Santo being waved off by the Brighton fans. Fabian Hurtzler has gone as well. So Gibbs White sent off. João Pedro in some pain. We're going to need to see the challenge again, I think, Stephen.
Yeah, we are. I think the big thing is Robert Jones, the referee, will be looking at it and thinking, is it excessive force? Is it dangerous towards the player? I think that my initial thoughts straight away was Gibbs White had timed this perfectly. Yes, he gets the player as he follows through, but I'm looking at the reaction of the bench and I'm looking at Fabian Hurtzler and all his staff who are up on the edge and they're all pointing at the challenge. Then João Pedro's calling on the medical staff. So whether Robert Jones has reacted to that or whether, like you say, he just thought, I'm going to give myself 2-3 seconds to let it breathe, make my decision, take everything into account, and he decided that the yellow card was the right decision.
Yeah, they're having a look at the moment, the Nottingham Forest coaching staff, at the challenge on the monitor. Another yellow card was handed out to one of them. Both managers have been sent off. Nottingham Forest down to 10 men. 6 minutes of this game remaining plus added time, but there's going to be plenty more of that. Covered a lot of ground there, Gibbs White. He was moving at speed. He threw himself into a sliding tackle. His right foot sort of goes just beyond the ball and catches the ball sort of with his heel at the same time as it catches Pedro, and then he gets more of the ball with his left leg as it comes through. So it's a sort of ball and man, I'm taking everything type challenge. And as you said, Stephen, Robert Jones took his time and went for a yellow card for the challenge. Rui Pedro Silva, the other member of the Nottingham Forest coaching staff, now standing out there representing Forest on the sideline, who got booked.
I'd say 5 years ago we wouldn't have even been contemplating that, but the way the game's moved on and the way that the games are refereed and the narrative behind challenges, force, the speed and things like that, maybe that's why he's looked at it and said it is dangerous.
Hinshelwood, 30 yards out in a central position. Nottingham Forest now down to 10 men. The manager's been sent off, so has Brighton's boss. Can one of these teams find a winner? Minte heading for the byline, tackled, and that is going to be a goal kick for Nottingham Forest. Another goal at Celtic. Gavin Wallace.
It has indeed, and it's been for Falkirk just as we go into added time. It was a Finn Yates header from a great cross in from Alfredo Aguiman, and the number 2 was there to stoke it home with the front of his head. Celtic 1, Falkirk 2.
And what's going on at Sale Harlequins? Adam Whitty.
9-8 at half-time. 3 penalties from George Ford have given them the narrowest of leads. The wet and windy weather playing havoc with the handling, but it's in the balance at the break. Half-time, Sale 9, Quins 8.
Talking about the other rugby results this week. weekend. Some great games in the Rugby Championship. Argentina beating South Africa 29-28. Where the South African kicker missed an absolute sitter at the end of the game to win that. So the championship rolls on to the next round of games. New Zealand flying into a lead against Australia, eventually only beat them 31-28. Another one of the brilliant BBC podcasts on the Sounds app. Our rugby union correspondent Chris Jones, Danny Kerr, Chris Ashton and the like with the Rugby Union Weekly. This is Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Here's Van Hecker, central position. Forest have everyone behind the ball. Veltman plays to his right. Post-match reaction from both camps going to be interesting. Cross comes into the far post and Williams has it covered for Forest. Lets that go, I think. Brighton wonder whether he got a touch. He didn't, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, I'm just going back to that Gibbs-White sending off and the second yellow. I think there'll be a part of Nuno when he looks back and says, do you have to make that challenge on a yellow card? When you're already on a yellow, do you need to go in for that challenge? Because it has to be timed perfectly, and if it's not, or it's not deemed to be, and the referee sees it from a certain angle, VAR can't intervene. So then it is the on-field decision. That's the only way it can stand.
The interesting thing for me as well, Stephen, was the time it took for Robert Jones, because like I say, VAR can't get involved in a yellow card award. For him, like you say, to take his time and make that decision, because initially the reaction in the stadium was, Hertzler obviously, up in arms about it, and then the Brighton fans all go up, but he's obviously taken his time. It's quite a long time after he decided, yes, that will be a yellow. He didn't come running towards him, just go bang, yellow, then red.
But the big thing for me is whether I'm right or wrong in my opinion, or anyone else's, he's took his time and thought about it. It's not a rush of blood to the head where he's jumped into the decision, and you can fully accept his decision on the pitch.
88th minute of the game. João Pedro is still playing. He is not moving freely, so he was definitely caught in the challenge, and I don't think we're arguing that. It was just the force of the challenge, the speed of the challenge, the ball and man type thing. As Stephen says, when he used to play the game, I think we wouldn't be talking about it.
Well, everyone would be up cheering and great challenge.
Great challenge.
You would,
Yeah,
and even the opposition fans would be saying great challenge.
Brighton 2, Forest 2. Corner for Brighton, which is going to come in from the left. Yankuba Minte with it. Everyone up to try and win the headers. It's cleared out of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Headed to the right by Hinshelwood. Pedro prompts a pass down the right, looking for Welbeck. Didn't find him. Here's Aina in the left back position. Plays it down that left-hand touchline. Straight out of play for Nottingham Forest. They're down to 10 men. They're obviously losing Morgan Gibbs-White for the next game as well, which is at home against Fulham. Now here's Van Hecker across to Dunk. Dunk. Central position, 30 yards out, uses Hinshelwood inside left channel, wide to Minte to Dunk again, quick touch from him, back to Hinshelwood. That cross comes in towards the far post. Welbeck went and completely missed with the header as the goalkeeper Matt Sells came towards him. Half-time at Celtic. Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, and the 21-time winners are trailing. Celtic 1, Falkirk 2. Ross McIver on 11 with a great goal. Paulo Bernardo brought it back on 21 with a thunderous volley, and Finn Yates with a header after Alfredo Aguiman put in an inch-perfect cross, gave the visitors the lead. Half-time Celtic 1, Falkirk 2.
Right, we think there's 6 minutes of added time on the way here at the Amex Stadium. That's a guess from our producer Andy Gillies. Manchester City Arsenal is on the way. It's going to have to go some to match the drama of this game. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Just under 31,500 inside the Amex to watch it this afternoon. Van Hecker heads the ball back to his goalkeeper Bart Verbruggen. So Nottingham Forest back off. They're down to 10. Brighton come rumbling forward with the two centre-backs, and he's bang on. 6 minutes of added time, end of the game. Mitoma tackled by Sosa wide on the left. Steals a couple of yards for the throw. Pedro gives it back to him. Pedro again for Brighton. Runs into Nico Williams. Fouled by Nico Williams? No, Robert Jones is not buying that. Wags his finger and says João Pedro's been a bit naughty there to try and win a free kick in an attacking position. That will be a goal kick to Nottingham Forest, who are going to take their time over the restart. So Andy's going to be our man who's going to go down and get the post-match reaction, which I think will be interesting given what's happened in the second half of this game. Fabian Hertzler, from my one dealings with him so far this season, very forthright, answers the questions, says what he thinks. Picked up a lot of yellow cards actually, managing St. Pauli last season. One red card today, all Lewis Dunk and Ramon Sosa in a physical challenge, and Sosa sort of caught Dunk in the throat there. Dunk complains to the assistant referee that he thought that was a bad one there. He says keep an eye on that. The referee did spot it. He's given just a free kick. So 5 minutes remaining in the game, still 2-2. Hinshelwood. Eventually Jota Silva comes towards him to engage, plays it to his right to Veltman, 45 yards out. Van Hecke has it, wall of red in front of him, floats a pass to the left. Mitoma controls it. Early cross comes in, Milenkovic heads it away, and he's very happy to do that all day long. Can Brighton find that bit of invention, guile, cleverness to find a way through? It's them doing all the pressing at the moment. Welbeck's lost it though. Here come Nottingham Forest. 10 men in Nottingham Forest, breaking in numbers here. Jota Silva got Hudson-Odoi in support. Ramon Sosa waiting at the far post. Hudson-Odoi has decided to check back and plays back here to Aina. Still inside the Brighton half, across to Yates, and the pass in the end played back to Morato. Morato with his left foot. Nice ball. Hudson-Odoi caught offside. Free kick for Brighton, 2-2.
Yeah, shouldn't be caught offside, and there's going to be a booking for Callum Hudson-Odoi here, kicking the ball away. Stop it and the restart quickly from Brighton, but that was an opportunity for Nottingham Forest as they broke down the left-hand side. Hudson-Odoi a little bit negative in the way that he approached that attack.
My eyes immediately flicked down to my team sheet there to see if Hudson-Odoi had been given it. I was thinking he's not on a yellow as well, is he? But no, that's his first yellow of the game. They're all up on that big screen actually away to our right-hand side, and the red marker next to the name of Morgan Gibbs-White, one of the big talking points from this game. The sliding challenge on João Pedro as Brighton tried to break on Nottingham Forest, which has earned him a second yellow card and seen him sent off. Lewis Dunk on the ball. Finds Mitoma wide on the left. Full commentary on Manchester City Arsenal on the way. Dunk's cross in towards the far post. Volleyed away for now. Falls to Jota Silva. João Pedro is really struggling to get back. Ramon Sosa's holding his run, trying to hold his run. He's on. Well, the flag stays down for now. Ramon Sosa to win it for Forest. Slides it across goal. Why didn't he shoot? He looked for Hudson-Odoi. It was offside anyway. It wouldn't have counted. Calm down, everyone.
Yeah, Ramon Sosa, he should be putting his laces through it though. He shouldn't even be passing the ball. He should be making sure that he finishes it and then he can look to the side. But again, Hudson-Odoi was caught offside earlier on, and Ramon Sosa, he's looking along the line. It's so clear. I know he wanted the ball a fraction earlier, but just wait, you've got bags of room to run into. And the ball from Jota Silva was just fractionally late, but they picked up another booking, haven't they, Brighton?
Yeah, they did. Who got? I didn't even see who it was got booked.
Lewis Dunk.
Thank you very much. Lewis Dunk is booked. Completely losing track of events here. What have we got left? We've got 2 minutes, a little bit more of added time. Pulsating game. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2, and João Pedro is really not moving freely for Brighton, which will be a concern for them. Van Hecke's ball to the left. Here's Mitoma into the area. He's overhit that. It's cleared away with some impetus there by Ramon Sosa. Puts his foot through it and smashes it into the Brighton fans, into the last 2 minutes of the game. Lewis Dunk waits to take the throw. 2 balls on the field. So referee Robert Jones actually is saying to Lewis Dunk, you're going to have to take that further up the touchline. Now Dunk's going to have to be careful here because he's not happy with Robert Jones being so fussy, but he is on the yellow card, so any back chat from him and he could see himself sent off. Van Hecke to Dunk as a left winger, chips the ball up in the air. Did it hit the bar? No, Sells flaps it over the bar. Brighton get themselves a corner. Sells couldn't take a risk there.
No, it was very awkward, and it was a horrible ball from Lewis Dunk. So much spin on it. Trying to catch it would have been difficult, but Sells dealt with it and pushed it over the bar.
Lewis Dunk is being told to calm down by Robert Jones. He's just had a right go at his teammate Minter saying, get over there, we need to take this corner quickly. But he also must have said something on the way past Robert Jones. Are we going to get a late winner? Last minute of added time. Minte's corner. Up they go. Headed away to the edge of the box. Nodded back into the box by Veltman. Flicked on. João Pedro stretches. Can't get on the end of it. And behind for another corner to Brighton. It's still 2-2.
A well defender from Nottingham Forest. Getting bodies. Making sure that they're winning the first ball that comes in the box. But also the second ball as things are dropping.
30 seconds to play. Brighton corner. Yankuba Minte with his left foot delivers again, and it comes towards the near post. Poor ball. Williams is able to head it away. Minte's going to try and make amends here. Gets a touch. Cross in from deep. Brilliantly brought down by Welbeck. Then Yates gets a foot in. Cleared for now. João Pedro to Minte. Ball into the penalty area. Milenkovic stretches. Has to clear that for a throw because it was going behind for a corner. My stopwatch says that the 6 minutes added time are now up. So we're now at the referee's discretion, and he's decided that's it. 2-2. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2. What a thrilling game at the Amex Stadium. Brighton 2-1 up at half-time. They went 1-0 down early, scored 2 goals late in the first half. Nottingham Forest got a great one on the break in the second half because Brighton were well on top at that point. Ramon Sosa scored it. And then the late drama, the Morgan Gibbs-White challenge on Joao Pedro that led to the second yellow and the red card. Both managers sent off in that as well. And in the end, Brighton couldn't find a way through.
No, they couldn't. And credit to Nottingham Forest because Brighton dominated the second half. And Nuno Espirito Santo made 5 substitutions in the second half, and they had an impact. They had a positive impact on the game as well. Lots of controversy throughout the half, but what an enthralling game. One that you couldn't take your eyes off because there was so much going on within the game. But overall, I'd say it's a fair result.
Great one for Match of the Day 2 tonight, BBC One at 10:30. Great one for the Football Daily podcast as well. We're off to go and get the reaction. They couldn't be separated. They're both still unbeaten. Both had their managers sent off today. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2.
Do you know, Stephen, the Morgan Gibbs-White red card is one of those that, you know, if you're a Forest fan, you're going to say it's an absolutely disgraceful decision. If you're a Brighton fan, you're going to say, of course. Ultimately, you kind of alluded to this in commentary. One, he's given him a decision to make, and two, just getting the ball is often not enough.
No, not these days, Steve, and like you say, just don't give the referee a decision to make. It was right in front of us, and straight away I'm thinking, credit to you, Morgan Gibbs-White. You've covered the ground, you've stopped a counter-attack, and then you see it again on the replay, and everything looks worse on the replay. It looks slowed down. You see it the way that the ankle of Joao Pedro collapses from underneath him, but that's momentum. He's got to have momentum to go into that challenge. But listen, Rob Jones takes his time, he makes a decision. He's getting booed off the pitch now for the way he's refereed this game, but I thought he handled it okay. I thought he made that decision, took his time to make that decision. And listen, we've come to accept this season that the referee's decision on the game is on the pitch is the final decision, and I don't mind that.